USPBL Baseball today presented by our credit union. We welcome you all to Jimmy John's. Field just about underway here in a spectacular matchup here today. It's the Utica Unicorns and the visiting Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. Jeremy Otto alongside Brendan Shabat to bring you the call. So glad you could tune in on what is kind of a rainy start to this day. The guys were out there taking BP. They had to come off and put the tarp on, but hopefully we'll be good to go here by first pitch.
Yeah, it's been kind of a rainy back and forth day. Tigers are trying to play tonight. We'll see if they get to go as well, but it seems like for right now we're going to play baseball.
Well, and it's a matchup that's going to be interesting on the mound, and two guys that we kind of talked about off air that could be two of the best pitchers in the USPBL this year.
Yeah, I certainly think Austin Shea is making his case so far early in spring training and in his first game on Saturday. 4 innings pitched, 6 strikeouts. He looks really dominant right now. He's throwing a fastball up to 92 miles an hour. He looks like a guy who could be the pitcher of the year this year. And Justin Rasmussen, a guy who maybe not many people thought could be as good as he has been, but he's clearly earned the starting role, the ace role for the Unicorns. He started with 3 walks in his first inning on opening day and really recovered well after that and looked pretty dominant on the bump.
Well, that leash is going to get a little bit longer for the Unicorns today as well. They expect him to throw about 75 pitches or 5 innings, either one of those that he gets to first. That's probably a welcome sight for him just to kind of settle in as well to his second professional start.
Yeah, it gives you a little bit more time. You know, you get an extra base runner on. You don't have to worry as much. More time, as you said, to settle in, calm down, and kind of find your groove and know that you've got another inning, another 15 more pitches, 20 more pitches than they wanted last time. And it's a better opportunity to show your stuff, too. You know that, hey, if I let this batter go, get it on the next one.
And we'll talk about it a little bit later, though. Offenses, in terms of offenses that we expected, the Unicorns were definitely one of those to be hot and hit a lot of home runs this year. The Beavers, we knew they had speed. We didn't really know if they had any power, you know, how much contact ability they'd had. We'll get to that in a moment on some guys that really stuck out. Let's check those starting lineups first for you, though, brought to you by 3 Dimensional Services. This year, first for the visiting Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers here today is Tyler Fraley leading it off and playing center field. Batting second is the second baseman Cody Stevenson. Marcus Page will bat third and play first base. Ryan Sullivan, the designated hitter, a guy with some power that we expect to see at some point this season. DHing here today, batting fifth, Eric Whitfield. He'll play right field. In the sixth hole is the shortstop Cameron Collette. Batting seventh is the third baseman Nafi Mercedes. Omar Ortiz Vasquez bats 8th and catches here today, and Saywan Lawrence will round out the order, bat 9th, and play left field as they face Justin Rasmussen here today. On the other end for the home Utica Unicorns, it's Drew Galassi leading things off and playing center field at a solid opening day at the plate. Eric Ramirez, a newcomer out of Lenora Ryan at the Division II level, will bat second and play third. Malik Bolin plays first base here today and bats third. Ari Sakopoulos will be in the cleanup spot and plays center field. Leandri Castro bats fifth and plays left. Noah Childress DHing here today. He'll hit in the sixth hole. It's Lambert at shortstop, Parkinson at the catching duty, and John Hoda rounding things out as they face the aforementioned Austin Shea here today. So a few things to unpack in terms of these lineups, but the Beavers, I guess we'll touch on that first. They kind of shined in their first game this year.
Yeah, I mean, they scored 6 runs. They hit the ball pretty deep. They were able to bring base runners home. And this is a Beavers team who we know they're going to be solid defensively. They have a lot of athletes in the field. They're going to be the fastest team on the base paths, probably lead the league in stolen bases. They have, in my opinion, the most sound pitching staff of the 4 teams. But we didn't really expect them to hit the ball the way they did on opening day. And again, it's one game. But even in spring training, they showed signs of this is going to be a team who's going to hit better than you would think based on statistics and the numbers of these guys coming into the league. But they really played well on opening day, hit the ball around. We'll see if they can do it again today.
We haven't even seen their fastest guy. Mr. Ford is still waiting on the bench, so if they really need a speedy guy out the bench, late in the game, he could be a dynamic guy to put out there.
Well, selfishly, I'm not Von Joshua. I'm not the manager, but I want to see Travius Ford get on the base pads. I want to see him steal a base. I think everybody, once they see it once, they'll want to see it every time as well.
Well, we talked about the big boppers certainly here on opening day in this Unicorns lineup. Drew Galassi at the top of the lineup did a really good job to kind of set the table with that power potential as well. But another guy that we were really looking to showcase the power kind of all throughout last year, came out towards the end, was Noah Childress. He had a 3-run bomb to left field, had a huge part in the game, and he's a guy to watch out for in terms of what he'll do at the plate.
Well, that 3-run bomb was an absolute no-doubter, and when he steps up to the plate and there's base runners on, you absolutely have to be worried if you're the opposing manager, opposing pitcher, catcher, whoever. And he put it on display, and it's kind of what we expected from him. I'm sure he's very excited and got a little bit of a confidence boost putting it on display in the first game. It really sets the table well for the rest of the season when you can start well just like that. And another guy that I'm excited to see is Leandy Castro. We saw him on his first swing the first time he made contact. You mentioned it on the air. Wasn't a great swing, didn't catch all the ball, but belted it down the left field line, and it was feet away from being a home run. He's another guy who I think we should really pay attention to when he steps up to the plate as a guy who can really do damage.
And in terms of how this pitching rotation will be organized here today, we certainly saw a lot of bullpen arms last week. One reason was that because both teams only had one game played overall. There's a few more games this week, obviously playing today through Monday. So guys will be stretched out a little bit more. That's good, for the staff, and certainly good for the staff at the USPBL as well to see what they have.
Yeah, and that's kind of what the opening weekend was for. That's why Rasmussen has a longer leash today than he did on opening day. We just want to see what you're made of first. And I think we kind of saw that on opening day. A lot of pitchers pitched different than we expected, and that's because it's the first game. There's a full crowd. This is professional baseball. A lot of these guys are making their debuts, and it's not the same as spring training when it's kind of scrimmage-like. And so we saw some guys handle the pressure better than others, and that's what we're here to do this weekend as well, and that's where Rasmussen gets that longer leash, and we'll see. This is when the bullpen, they're going to put out their main guys that they want to see the rest of the year and see if they can handle tough situations or see if they can extend a starting pitcher's good performance into the later innings.
You ready for the battle for first place?
I am. Both teams are 1-0. We're going to see who takes home first.
It'll be an exciting one next here on the USPBL Network. We got a lot more to get to, including a game that happened yesterday without fans in attendance, one of those non-publics that we'll see throughout the year. We'll talk about that and some other guys to watch for when we get back here on the USPBL Network. Stick with us.
Companies are competing for talent like never before. With the complexities of handling tasks like payroll, benefits administration, and other HR functions, it's easy to see how a professional employer organization like Tryon Solutions makes all the difference. Tryon empowers businesses of all sizes to attract and retain talent by offering access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
While credit cards help pay for everyday expenses, carrying a balance each month can be tough on your budget. Since interest rates compound daily, the amount you owe gets bigger and bigger each day the balance goes unpaid. A Green Path debt management program helps you regain control of your finances by lowering credit card interest rates, reducing your monthly payments, stopping late fees, improving overall financial health, paying off credit card debt in 5 years or less. Our caring certified counselors work with you to understand your financial picture and support you on the steps to get control of high-interest debt and achieve financial health. Call 844-572-5921 and get control of high-interest credit card debt today.
Slide into a new home. Work with a local mortgage pro who works for you. Get a cheaper, faster, easier home loan. Find a mortgage broker near you today at findamortgagebroker.com.
How do these business owners find the time for peace of mind? Because they rely on Tryon to handle difficult and time-consuming HR tasks like payroll, benefits administration, and more. Working with Tryon, one of the nation's top professional employer organizations, provides access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans and its team of attorneys and HR experts. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
Well, unfortunately, there is the tarp as it heads on the field here at Jimmy John's Field. They got through anthem and intros here today, but it was clear that baseball at least could not start on time. And the little haze in the air is from the fireworks, kind of the pre-show during the national anthem here today as they pull the tarp out there. It's been a pretty heavy rain in the last 10 to 15 minutes, right before the intros started, as the players were still tossing in the outfield. It was kind of this heavy, so it was apparent that play will likely not start on time. The good thing is the infield has held up for the most part. The normal puddling areas kind of in foul territory in front of some of the dugout suites and the dugouts themselves are holding water a bit, but hopefully they can get those ready to play in just a little bit. This system, when you kind of look at the radar, I mean, the rain might be around until 9:30. It's just a question of how heavy it will be. They can play in rain, just they won't probably start the game in rain like this. So we'll see where we're at in maybe a half hour or so.
Yeah, and you mentioned that the infield has held up pretty well, and that's actually due to a new tarp that they have purchased for this season, and it's so far looks like a good purchase for the USPBL to make. The infield looks a lot better than the foul ground that you mentioned, and we'll have to pay attention to that once play starts. Once we see the puddles out there, then that will be kind of an indication to the umpires and to the people who run the league here whether to keep playing or not.
Well, we talked about the game yesterday that happened briefly as well. We could talk about that a little bit more within the course of this game. But one thing to look at was a 6-3 Woolly Mammoths victory. Number one, it's the first two wins of the year for the Mammoths as they have had a nice start. But Rafi Vasquez also had some nice innings of work on the mound, 75 pitches, 4 innings, 6 strikeouts, no walks, 3 hits, and 1 earned run. That's a guy certainly to watch. He's a raw guy because he's kind of transitioning back to pitching, but they think he could be a very good one.
Yeah, pitched early in his young adult life and then kind of went over to a positional player, was a corner infielder, sometimes played in the middle. And then once he finished up towards the end of college and into his professional career, went back to pitching, and that's kind of where he is now at the start of his pitching career as a professional baseball player. And he looks like he has the stuff, he has the potential, and I think we're going to see shines of it, here and there throughout the course of the year. How high his ceiling is, I don't know, but I think he's a very talented young kid, and he has an opportunity to surprise some people in this league.
Guizdala started for the Hoppers. Kind of a rough start again for the Hoppers, both defensively and on the mound. He gave up 4 runs in the first inning, but big-time credit because he went 3 in that game, struck out 2, walked 3, but did not give up another earned run going forward. Only 2 of those 4 were earned as well for Guizdala, who's been kind of more of a reliever here in the USPBL. That's likely his role going forward. But as you see, the tarp is on the field. We will keep you updated as the night goes on, but it's coming down pretty heavily here at Jimmy John's Field. Stick around here on the USPBL Network.
Times are tough right now. It feels like the bottom of the ninth and we're down by 2. But we've seen tough times before. Our founders were forged from tough times. People that believed that maybe, just maybe, if people helped people, we could all rise up together. For 80 years, that's what we've done. While we can't tell you what's going to happen, we can tell you we are going to make it through this together. And when the dust settles, we'll still be here. Just like baseball has always been more than just a game, Chief Financial Credit Union is more than money. So it might be the bottom of the ninth, but we're the home team, and we've got runners on base. Batter up, America. It's time to play ball.
What makes Detroit Mercy so unique is the fact that it's in the middle of Detroit, and especially with their service learning programs, you really get a chance to be a part of the community.
Detroit Mercy. Build a boundless future.
Welcome back to Jimmy John's Field, everyone. Jeremy Idle alongside Brennan Shabat to bring you the call here tonight. Hopefully we'll have some baseball soon. Good news is the tarp is off the field, and you look at the infield, and it looks pretty good still. There's certainly some puddling in foul territory down the third and first base lines, but players are starting to trot out there and trying to get loose. Once again, we've been in delay for about 34 minutes. We do not have an ETA in terms of time. They're obviously going to have some work to do. Get this water drained off the tarp because there's a good amount on it. It is still drizzling here at the ballpark, but we're hopeful we'll have some baseball soon here.
Yeah, this is what we talked about earlier. The umpires and crew here will monitor the level of rain. It's still okay to play during the rain, but once the infield starts to puddle a little bit, players start to slip and slide and slosh around. It can be difficult and dangerous to play in those conditions, but if I'm a player, I want to get this game started as soon as possible. It's annoying, and it messes with your pregame routine to go throughout your whole day leading up to 7 o'clock, and you're going through your routine and your warm-up, and you're getting ready, and you're ready to go by about 6:55, 7 o'clock. You should be in game mode, and then all of that gets put on pause. It's a little bit cold and wet, not exactly fun weather to be out in, and then you got to wait for an inordinate amount of time, 35, 40 minutes. You don't know how long it's going to be, whether you play, are you going to get the game in. So we'll see how much the rain affects. In particular, I want to focus on these starting pitchers, see how their mindset is to start this game and see if they're still going to be locked in or if there's going to have to be some kinks worked out throughout that first and second inning.
When you look at this radar here, unfortunately we can't depict it to you on the screen, but you literally look at it, and there's about an hour window with there's a lip of rain that goes under Utica, Michigan. So the Utica bubble is back into effect here maybe for an hour or so. So hopefully we'll have some baseball for you soon. They'll have to work on the field a little bit, but as soon as we get an ETA, we will let you know here on the USPBL Network. Stick with us.
How do these business owners find the time for peace of mind? Because they rely on Tryon to handle difficult and time-consuming HR tasks like payroll, benefits administration, and more. Working with Tryon, one of the nation's top professional employer organizations, provides access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans and its team of attorneys and HR experts. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
Come on and keep me satisfied.
Slide into a new home. Work with a local mortgage pro who works for you. Get a cheaper, faster, easier home loan. Find a mortgage broker near you today at findamortgagebroker.com.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
One thing that makes Detroit Mercy unique and different from other universities is that the faculty truly care about you and they're always there to help. Whether it's asking questions after class or going into the office hours, they're always there to lend a hand and really make you feel at home.
People are here to work together, and whether you have a question or you're discussing topics within the class, you can go up to your professor and they know your name. They're just willing to help you become a better overall student.
Detroit Mercy. Build a boundless future.
Balfour Property Restoration, Budweiser, DTE Energy, Fifth Third Bank, Jarbcom, Jimmy John's, Macomb Community College, McLaren Macomb, Metro Detroit Chevy Dealers, Pepsi, Scott's, Valpak, and UWM. We thank all those fine partners, including our presenting partner here today, our credit union. We thank them for their participation in tonight's game as well. Jeremy Addo alongside Brendan Shabat to bring the call here today. Getting closer and closer to first pitch here. As we have some time, let's take a second peek at your starting lineups for tonight's game. It's Tyler Fraley to lead it off for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers as he plays center field. Cody Stevenson bats second. Playing second base, Marcus Page in the 3-hole. He'll play first. Ryan Sullivan, the designated hitter here today. Eric Whitfield bats fifth and plays right. Cameron Collette in the 6th hole as he plays shortstop as well. Nafi Mercedes, Omar Ortiz, and Sawan Lawrence will round it out playing catcher, left field, and third base, catcher, and left field, respectively there. As for the home, Utica Unicorns here today. It's Drew Galassi once again leading it off and playing right field here. Eric Ramirez will bat second and play third. Malik Bolin bats third and plays first. Ari Sakopoulos back in the outfield again here tonight. He will bat fourth and play center field. Leandy Castro bats fifth and is in left. Noah Childress bats sixth and DHing today. It's Lambert, Parkinson, and Hodo who will round out the lineup as the Utica Unicorns will take the field. We're ready for baseball here at 7:48 p.m. in Utica, Michigan.
A little bit later than we expected or wanted, but nonetheless, baseball on a rainy Friday evening and still decently warm, so not too bad. Always a good day for some ball.
Well, it's kind of that same type of feel. Anytime when you have a long rain delay, it's like you sit and you watch the rain continue to go on the tarp, and then all of a sudden the tarp's being pulled in, and bam, you're playing baseball. You have to wake up all of a sudden. That's kind of what it feels like here today at 7:48.
It's like we talked about earlier, too, with you're getting ready all day before the game, and bam, you're not going to play. You got to stop. And here we are almost 50 minutes later before we're going to finally play some baseball. So it's an adjustment that players have to make, but if you are familiar with this sport, it is something you are definitely used to.
Justin Rasmussen, get a nice look at him there, 6 foot tall, 210-pound native of Illinois. The righty also pitched for Bethel in the NAI, has a fastball, a splitter, and a curveball that he brings into play here today. Both of these two starters really use their fastball quite a bit in their opening outing, and part of that may be because, they weren't seeing the second, time through the order in some cases, and hardly anybody was seeing the third time through the order just because of all the arms that they wanted to use. As we talked about a long time ago in our pregame show, that's going to be a little bit less of the case here today, as they want to, see how long guys can go here today and stretch them out a bit more than we've seen. So it'd be interesting to see how long these two starters do go, given the weather situation as well.
Yeah, Rasmussen's supposed to get around 75 pitches, 5 innings or so, like you mentioned. If he throws really well, he'll get a chance to maybe see the order for a third time, or maybe a few batters for a third time. Austin Shea for the Beavers has a little bit longer of a leash. He'll go 90 pitches. They kind of want a full regular game from him. Josh Hines, the assistant manager for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers, talked about Shea and says he wants him to go 6, and then they'll go to the bullpen from there, maybe 7 if they're lucky. But Justin Rasmussen is a guy who I'm excited to see have a longer leash. Went 2 innings in his debut, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, but really looked well looked calm and good after that first inning. Got a little rattled. We talked with Adrian Guzman, who said that he admittedly had never pitched in front of that many people before, and that kind of just got to him. We had a huge crowd here on opening day. The buzz of the stadium can cause some nerves, and we saw that early on, and he picked it up well. He recovered well, and that's the mark of a mentally strong ball player.
We encourage you all to chime in on the chat sections of Facebook and YouTube. I know a number of you did during that delay. Even Ari Sakopoulos had a chance to chime in. He says Tarponic was no fun.
I agree.
Eric Souter says no Tigers, no USPBL. But we have USPBL now, so Eric, hopefully you're still tuning in. If somebody knows Eric, tell him we're good to go here today. Eric Taylor Fraley leads it off for the Beavers as he looks at a ball outside, 1-0. Fraley the other day, a double and a walk. 1-0 on the ground to the second baseman, Hodo. Feeds to first, and that is 1 up and 1 down here in the first.
Looks like no trouble on the infield dirt early there for Jonathan Hodo. If the weather stays like this, it's not actively raining right now. It might be what we call spitting for the moment, but if it stays like this for the time being, should be fine conditions to run around the infield out there.
Check the rest of the defense behind Rasmussen today, brought to you by 3-Dimensional Services after this first pitch to Cody Stevenson. It's a fastball high. Castro's in left, Sakopoulos in center, Galassi's in right. Ramirez at third, Bolin on first, Hodo and Lambert. Your double play combination up the middle with Parkinson. Catching the pitches here today it was Junkin Hewitt, who caught the other day. Parkinson is sort of a new-ish addition to the roster. He was listed as one of the guys on the rosters that we got before the season started, but I don't believe he was available for Game 1. And there's 2 other new, fresh faces for this Unicorns team today as well, which was kind of a surprise.
Yeah, some guys finishing up their college seasons at the D2, Lenore Ryan, who had a fantastic postseason run this year, and Jim Essien is the college scout of the USPBL, the kind of the student-athlete whisperer almost, and he gets a lot of those guys to come up here after their college seasons have finished.
Now the 2-2, another curveball back-to-back, that one buried in the dirt. Marcus Page on deck, and then it would be Ryan Sullivan, some of the power in this lineup for the Beavers. Rasmussen readying the 3-2 again. Ooh, a little uncomfortable swing. Just getting a piece of that is Stevenson. Looking to dry that bat off.
That's what you got to do when it gets wet. Got to do everything you can. Make sure you keep that grip dry.
In on the hands and popped up foul.
Good location on that pitch from Rasmussen. Don't want to give him anything in a full count that he can put the barrel on. You want to obviously put it in the zone. Don't want to walk him. But nothing too far outside where he can really barrel the ball.
Low and away the fastball there. And a one-out walk to begin this game here in the first.
That was some good old-fashioned hitting from Cody Stevenson, something Vaughn Joshua and Josh Hines have really stressed with this roster, is just being pesky, being annoying to the opposing pitcher, fouling balls off, just tipping them, staying alive as long as you can, forcing at-bats to go for many pitches.
First pitch to Page, curveball down low. Through just a couple of them. The other day we talked about mostly the fastballs, but again, that was only through 2 complete innings of work. The fastball anywhere from 85 to 88 in his last start.
And that goes back to Rasmussen just trying to be comfortable in his debut. I think the fastball is obviously the most comfortable pitch that he has. Didn't want to leave a hanging breaking ball. We saw some breaking balls get hung in that game, and they were belted out of the park, so...
And Noah Childress greeted one as well on the other side as Page looks at a fastball away. 2-0.
Likely going to keep this ball down in the zone for Rasmussen. Try to force a double play from Page.
Decent lead there for Stevenson, who definitely has some speed. Fastball buried on the outer edge for strike 1.
Really nice, well-placed fastball there, low and away. Not a great spot for Page to really do anything with it, especially with a runner on first and just one out.
Now the 2-1. Carved low and in. 3-1 quickly on Page now. One of the speedier guys, certainly in this lineup as well. It's a nice combination of power and speed for some of these players. Runner moving the 3-1, low. I believe it was called ball 4. It is, so that result doesn't matter. The crowd oohed and awed, though, because it was a close play down at second.
It was exciting.
So no steal either for Stevenson.
Stevenson would have gotten a steal anyways had it mattered, but that's something, too, Josh Hines has stressed to us in spring training, that this is going to be a team that we know for a fact they're going to run, and they're going to do whatever they can to get around the bases as much as possible and make it easier for the next guy up to put themselves in a position to score.
Here's Ryan Sullivan. We talked about it in the second game last week on Saturday. Just 2 games, no Sunday game in the USPBL. We have a full allotment of games this week, Friday through Monday, but Sullivan hit a big-time fly off the scoreboard in left center field in the simulated game the day before the start of the season on Thursday.
Well, he seems to be much more comfortable after dealing with a little bit of a pulled hamstring in spring training that he got rounding first, but Sullivan, a Division I college guy who has natural and momentous power. You know, he's got that light tower power, as you mentioned, or scoreboard power, should we say. And he's got a nice swing, a good approach at the plate, and he can do a lot of damage by just making his life simple in the way he approaches at-bats.
Now the 1-1 off the end of the bat, fastball at 88. Josh Hines, one of the assistants for the Beavers, has already made a few tweaks with him in terms of, you know, where he's starting his swing and ending his swing as well, and it's paid off.
Yeah, trying to make sure Sullivan doesn't get too far out front, and that goes for every hitter. You don't want to be hitting the ball in front of that lead foot. You want it between that lead foot and that midline. And for a guy like Sullivan, that can usually mean a very far hit ball if he catches it in that sweet spot.
That one ends up maybe out of the ballpark down the first base line, out of play at least.
Good bounce. It's on M59.
Got to watch out. Rasmussen with one out. Here's the 1-2. Curveball away. Was able to locate the curveball with some success early to Fraley, but since has not been able to throw it for a strike. So it's Stevenson on second, Page on first. Back-to-back walks here in the first inning. Here's the 2-2. Fastball away. 3-2 on Sullivan now.
This is where you got to see Rasmussen. If you're Jim Essen, you want to see him attack Ryan Sullivan. You obviously have to put it in the zone, but make it a tough pitch for him to either take or to swing at and put in play.
Another fastball elevated at 88. You can see by Parkinson's reaction. He liked where that was.
Yeah, it's a really good pitch. That's one that Sullivan was obviously behind with that foul the opposite way, and that's one that can really catch a hitter off guard. It looks great when it's up there coming out of the hand, and then it just stays up. You think it might be a breaking ball, and it just stays up and flies right by you.
Chopped on the ground. Ramirez feeds to second in time. Over to first. Easy double play to end the inning. Boy, just what Justin Rasmussen needed here in the first inning. 5-4-3 it goes. And after two walks here in the first inning, we're still 0-0 after the top half. Time for your Thrifty Florist sweetheart of the game here today. JJ, the field general, will visit her in the stands. So it's Andrea who takes them home in section 101 here today, right at the edge of the grandstands. Nice spot to catch a game.
Not a bad seat in the house here at Jimmy John's Field, that's for sure.
Everything very intimate. You're right on top of the action, and very good chance you'll get a ball wherever you are, too. As take a look at your Freaky Fast Facts presented by Jimmy John's here today. Chewing gum can help improve one's memory. There you go.
Never been a gum guy. That explains it.
Got to watch out with the teeth, though. The hairdryer was the offspring of two unrelated inventions, the vacuum cleaner and the blender. Okay.
A vacuum cleaner makes sense. I wouldn't have guessed blender.
There are more head and spinal injuries from cheerleading than all other sports combined. That must be from falling, unfortunately.
Well, I'll tell you what, cheerleading is one of those sports very similar to gymnastics. When I have that conversation about the toughest sports in the world, it goes golf, gymnastics, and boxing. Don't take for granted how tough gymnastics and cheerleading and any of those acrobatic sports are.
I couldn't do it, I can tell you that.
That's for sure.
Let's check the defense here today behind Austin Shea. It's Lawrence in left, Fraley in center, Whitfield is in right, Mercedes on third, Page at first, Stevenson at second, and Collette's up the middle, completing that double play combo with Ortiz catching the pitches of Austin Shea here today. Shea, the 6'5", 230-pound right-hander out of Cummings, Georgia. Fastball, changeup, and a slurve for him. Mostly fastball in his first outing. And a slurve here or there. Wasn't exactly happy how it was working for him in terms of swings and misses, but certainly a good pitch for him.
Yeah, a guy who's gotten a lot of interest from some of the bigger leagues, trying to make his way out of the USPBL and move up the baseball world, and a guy who certainly has potential. We talked about him in the pregame show. One of the best pitchers in this league, without a doubt, and you mentioned that fastball and how he favored that a lot in his first outing. I think similar to Rasmussen that we already saw in the first inning, Shea's going to mix it up a little bit, and I think a lot more hitters are going to take a look at what that slurve is like for the first time.
Drew Galassi, Eric Ramirez, and Malik Bolin coming up here in the first inning. And Eric Ramirez is so new, he doesn't quite have a headshot yet. He literally got placed in the lineup 6-7 hours before the game. A little bit of a surprise to see him already here today as Galassi lifts this pitch out of play.
Well, Ramirez is one of those guys who came from Lenore Rhine, and I believe their season just ended 2 days ago, 3 days ago at the most. Quickly making the trek up here from North Carolina.
0-1 outside, fastball at 88. It was anywhere from 89 to 92 on average for Shea. Now the 1-1. Slurve outside, 2-1 on Galassi now. Shea's a guy that likes to work fairly quickly, and of course we have the pitch clock in order this year as well here in the USPBL.
Yeah, he's not a guy who's going to have to worry about that a whole lot this year.
15 seconds with no runners on base and 20 with runners on base as that fastball rides low. So a leadoff walk here in the first inning. Not completely surprising to see the 3 total walks between these two pitching staffs given how long we waited. That's the thing with rain delays. Obviously, if you start an inning or start a game where the starting pitcher is out there and is thrown a little bit, it gets dicey. We have a rain delay really over an hour. That's kind of the benchmark, it seems. But the thing is, we didn't really start play. I'm not even sure the pitchers got out there to warm up, expecting what was about to happen. They did go with the starting lineups in the national anthem, but then quickly pulled the tarp on the field. The infield was in very good shape, didn't have to do much to it. And they were able to play ball here fairly quickly after that tarp came off.
Yeah, I think if this was a sunny, shiny, rainbowy day, Rasmussen and Shea might have had, I mean, obviously Shea is only one batter through, but might have had a better start to this game. But that's really, it's very mental for a starting pitcher leading up to a game. You know, that's when you're in the clubhouse in the dugout. Don't talk to the starter. Don't ask him questions. You know, don't do anything. Don't get in his way. Let him lock in and be ready to go. And that rain delay just changes that whole aspect.
On the ground up the middle, booted, still with a play at first base. He did not tag Galassi, even though it looked close in the middle of the diamond there. But regardless, Galassi's safe at second, and a fielder's choice for Ramirez. And now Malik Bolin will bat with one out here in the first.
It was a nice job by Collette to stay composed. That's a play that he should have made and should have been a relatively easy double play. Tough ball to get to, especially with a runner bearing down on you. But even after he missed it, staying composed and making the throw to first.
There's a liner into right center. Fraley playing that. Coming home, Galassi. He's going to test it and score as they hang on in the middle of the infield there. 1-0 Unicorns here in the first.
Malik Bolin stepping up, ready to hit right away. First pitch, got to be prepared. Put a nice barrel on it, exactly what you want to do. Get it in the gap, allows Galassi to score.
Now some more power comes back to the plate here. Ari Sikopoulos. Sikopoulos has kind of played more of an outfield role to begin this year. A little bit of a long jab at the corner infield positions for this Unicorns team. So just trying to find a way to get his bat in the lineup. And obviously a big one batting cleanup again here today. Fastball in for strike one.
Yeah, Sikopoulos, we know what he's going to do at the dish, and he's going to be pretty consistent this year. They're just trying to find the right spot for him out in the field. They think that might be somewhere in the outfield where he doesn't have to move a whole lot, isn't relied on too heavily to make big plays and kind of run the outfield, but a guy who can just be comfortable, make plays, and focus the rest of his game on hitting.
Short lead for Bolin at first base here, the 1-1. That slurve away. 2-1 on Sikopoulos now. .346 ERA for Austin Shea last year, in just 5 appearances, 3 of them being starts. They certainly want him to be a starter going forward. Now the 3-1. Big cut, but punch foul.
Rasmussen in this same position an inning ago was able to get just what the doctor ordered, a double play, and Shea's going to try to bait Ari Sakopoulos into the same thing here.
Fairly deep outfield. The wind not a big factor here today. 3-2, low and in. 2 of his best fastballs back-to-back. Not able to locate that one, and that's the second walk. The first one is already scored. Here's a look at the pennants and Unicorns Championship banner out in left.
That pennant flag seems to be moving more than some of the other ones around the ballpark as well. The American flag out in center field, a little bit less, also a little bit heavier.
First pitch to Castro, fastball in there at the knees for strike 1. Castro 1 for 3 with an RBI in his pro debut on Friday. His teams had the chance to work out. We obviously had the non-public game yesterday as well. Ooh, that was a nasty-looking pitch for strike 2.
Castro saw that thing coming at his face for a second, and then it just slipped back into the zone.
Tight break on it, looking more like the slider. Of course, the breaking ball kind of in between the slider and the curve for Shea.
A little bit of both.
Now the 0-2. Over through the fastball, boinged right back to Ortiz, but still has no play as Bolin advances to third and Sakopoulos up to second. Doesn't get any easier on deck. Noah Childress waiting.
This is the thick heart of the order for the Unicorns, from Bolin down to Childress, 3 down to 6. 4 really tough hitters who all have power to put the ball out of the park.
Fastball with some tail to the outer edges. That reached 92 for Shea, just couldn't command it. Kind of with that 3/4 arm slot, though, he has some natural run, especially to righties. That obviously working towards his disadvantage. Now the 2-2. Another hearty fastball, foul back. He's certainly getting loose in terms of the velocity here. You see it in the last couple batters.
Yeah, there's some life there, and it's turned up a little bit in the past few batters, but still working on the control right here in the early goings.
Curveball, heart of the plate, golf to right, look out, no man's land, foul. Ooh, that was a little bit further to the right than I originally thought. Barely in play. Down the right field line, Stevenson, Page, Whitfield, we're all heading towards there.
And the way the spin comes off of that bat, that ball is just continuously running away and away from the fielders trying to get there. That's a really tough play to make, especially here at Jimmy John's with the very wide berth foul territory.
Gets wide and then really skinny.
Yeah.
Down the lines. Fastball, he dusted him off. First K for either of these two arms. It's a big one for Shea, trying to strand the 2 runners in scoring position here in the first.
There it is again, that high fastball, and you just mentioned it, Jeremy Shea loosening up a little bit, turning up the velocity, turning up the life on it. Works for his first strikeout.
Big out to get, though. Noah Childress had a 3-run home run to left in a big spot to kind of break the game open on opening day. First pitch to Noah. Ooh, pulled the string for strike 1.
Really smart off-speed pitch there from Shea. Childress just saw a lot of fastballs go to Castro the at-bat before.
0-1, rope to left, a base hit. It's going to score Bolin. Sakopoulos rounding third as well. Lawrence gets the throw in, trickles to Ortiz. Got the tag in time. Wow. Lawrence having to quickly fire one. Ortiz off the line, swimming back to the plate, and able to put the tag on Sakopoulos to get out of the inning. That's a huge, huge play. Another run does score. 2-0 Unicorns on the USPBL network.
I'm all in with HR and Organizational Development Council.
I'm all in with Marketing and Business Development Council.
I'm all in with Operations and Member Experience Council.
I'm all in with CEO Council.
I'm all in with Lending Council.
I'm all in with CFO Council.
I'm all in with Technology Council.
Our credit union is all in with CUNA councils.
They call me Prospects. Since the day I was born as a diver's watch, the challengers of the world have taught me many things. Life is not a numbers game. It's about challenging ourselves. No matter what happens, just follow your heart. These pioneers drive our generation forward, not by setting records, but by never giving up. Keep going forward. Prospects.
Available at Lucido Fine Jewelry.
We're for people, the pioneers, the underdogs, the players, and the slow and steadies. We're for people, for who they are and who they could become. Yes, we're a bank, and some say our business is all about money, but that's an old idea. Because look past the money, and you'll see real human lives. We see it, because we're for people. Huntington, welcome.
Well, an interesting first inning all the way around. Some runners stranded on the double play turned behind Justin Rasmussen. Shea able to benefit from the throw out Lawrence to Ortiz. The really nice sliding tag from Ortiz on the throw that was off the line. So we'll see what the second inning holds as Rasmussen delivers a fastball in on the hands of Whitfield there. 1-0, fouled off. 2 walks in that first inning for Justin. Stevenson and Page back-to-back, but it was a fairly routine 5-4-3 double play. Went Ramirez, Hodo, Bolin. Ramirez turned it quickly. Popped him up. Sakopoulos staring that straight up for the first out.
Rasmussen has already in the 3-4 innings that he's thrown at the professional level has shown an innate ability to recover from mistakes that he's made from pressure. He didn't start the inning great last inning. 2 walks in the first 3 batters and recovered nicely, located the ball well, and was able to get a ground out into a double play to get out of the inning. And that's just what he did in his debut, like we talked about. 3 walks in the first inning and really looked good in the innings after that.
Quickly 0-2 on Collette's. Looking dialed in all of a sudden here. Getting in the groove. The 0-2. Fastball elevated a bit more, and Collette able to get over the top of it. Rasmussen, more of a power pitcher in college, but he realized that maybe the stuff wasn't good enough to continue to strike guys out at a high rate. So combined with the strikeouts, he's also looking to get some contact behind him as that fastball reaches out of play. He was about 8 Ks per 9 in college, which also was fouled with a fairly high walk rate of 4.5. So he'd like to cut that down, I'm sure, a little bit in pro ball. 0-2, breaking ball in the dirt.
Yeah, every pitcher is looking to keep that strikeout rate somewhere near 7.5 or more, 7 to 10. Obviously, above 9, a strikeout an inning is the ideal spot to be. And then as far as the walk rate goes, anything less than 4 is a really good sign for a pitcher, and that's kind of the number to beat.
Now the 1-2, ooh, fastball right at the head. And that's only an 86-mile-an-hour fastball. Obviously, it's going to play up looking right at it, but it plays up. I mean, that looks more like 88, 89 at least. 2-2. A little bit softer that time as Collette fouls it off. The Tigers in town, they play about 30 minutes or so away from the ballpark for perspective in Detroit. We're actually postponed here today, so good on us that we got this game in. Curveball away, 3-2 on Collette now. I'm sure that's not something the Tigers like to see, playing pretty well.
Yeah, 2 wins in a row.
He's worked it to a 3-2 and a walk. Hustle down to first base just in case Parkinson can't get to it in time. And you never know, the way this backstop plays, if it does bounce off something, it potentially could ricochet to the right or left, and then there's a lot of room following the backstop to the 2 corners kind of the backstop.
Yeah, and those pads back there almost act as springboards sometimes with the right spin and the right velocity on the ball. It can fly back off of those and right back to the catcher, and you can be in trouble if you're a base runner.
Here's Nafi Mercedes now, one of the returners to the Beavers from last year. Started out on the Hoppers and then traded over to Ed Campanella's team at that point. 1-0 on Mercedes. Corner infielders playing in. Center fielder Sikopoulos also kind of in. Here's the 1-0. Fastball outside, 2-0 on Mercedes now. Short lead over there for Collette. On the move, curveball, not a great pitch to throw on, and bounced it to Lambert and Hodo respectively there.
Impressive job by Parkinson to still get that ball down there as fast as he could. As you mentioned, a ball in the dirt, not a great one to throw down on. Play was much closer with Collette at second than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, the speed is 69 as well, so all those factors not playing in his favor. Now the 3-0. Outside at 86 miles an hour. Now that's back-to-back walks. The 4th of the game already for Rasmussen.
You know, it worked out for the Beavers, but I was surprised that they sent Collette on the 2-0, you know, ahead in the count. Rasmussen, the past couple batters, couple pitches, has struggled to locate the ball. Obviously, again, it worked out, and he's down in second. But the walk anyways to Mercedes kind of negates that. He could have not run the risk of getting thrown out at second.
Here's Omar Ortiz, who made a nice play defensively in the first. That fastball in at 85 for strike 1. Juan Lawrence, the bottom of the order, is on deck.
Those were the 2 that had that connection at the end of the first inning.
Swing and a miss.
That's that swing that is not going to make Von Joshua happy. Swinging up, swinging out for the fences, getting out in front of it.
Off the glove outside, running is Collette, and he will reach. So now runners on first and third. Mercedes stood tall at first. Boy, for Collette, you had to read that one right away, and he certainly did that.
Yeah, I was honestly surprised that Parkinson didn't at least chuck it down to third and give it a chance. Maybe a smart idea, though. Could have put runners on second and third if that ball gets passed.
Runner moving to second now. That's Mercedes as Ortiz puts a swing on it. So the only base runners thus far for the Beavers have been via the walk. They swung it pretty good in their first game on Saturday, as we talked about in the pregame show. It's like another world ago. Here's the 1-2, tipped into the glove, and Parkinson will hold on. Not a lot to gain there with a pretty good jump for Mercedes. And the second out being recorded and his first strikeout into the books. Saywan Lawrence. With the last shot for the Beavers here. Also batted 9th in the previous game. Got on base a couple times. A few RBIs for him as well. Fastball fades away, 1-0.
Saywan, certainly one of the fastest guys, not only on this Beavers team, who we've already seen is going to steal a lot this year, but one of the fastest guys in this league. He's someone that Josh Hines has talked about, has a green light when he gets on base.
That one fades away, 2-0. Each team does it a little differently. Some teams do not necessarily have signs because it's more of a, showcase league, development league. Here's the 2-0. Fastball low. Obviously, if they see something that's like, it probably shouldn't run, I'm sure there'll be a conversation to be had. But
yeah,
in general, if you have the speed, you're going to have that green light.
I think that's pretty much the idea with the Beavers. There's not going to be a whole lot of sign sharing out there with base runners on. If you think you're in a position that you can get a good jump and go, then go.
Fastball just finds the outside corner. 3-1 on Lawrence now.
Wow, just with a capital J finds the outside corner.
Yeah, Saywan didn't quite like that call.
Rightfully so.
Now the 3-1. Fastball again, and that is the third walk in the inning. Each one of them coming kind of with an out in between. Now Tyler Fraley will bat with the bases juiced and 2 outs, and that'll bring the catcher Parkinson, the third baseman Ramirez, and their co-manager Adrian Guzman, or assistant manager, I should say, out to play.
Yeah, no surprise this draws a mound visit. They obviously want to give Rasmussen the opportunity to get out of this inning and get out of this jam, and that's kind of something that Adrian Guzman talked about with some of his pitchers on this staff, is we want to see what they can do in trouble spots. He was more referring to relief guys when they bring them into the game, but that applies to starting pitchers too. And again, you mentioned it's a showcase, it's a development league. Showcase what you can do in a jam, a 2-out bases loaded jam. You've been walking a couple of guys. Can you strike out the top of the order, force an out and get out of this inning without giving up a run?
So nobody to hold on with the bases loaded, and a healthy rip by Fraley down the first base line there.
Healthy and barreled. Just caught it on the bottom.
Collette on third, Mercedes on second, Lawrence on first, all reaching via the free pass here in the second inning. The rock of the 0-1. Fastball at 88, in for strike 2. Fraley thought that was a bit low.
That's a nice pitch from Rasmussen. Get ahead in the count, 0-1. Go back low, don't give him anywhere to hit it. Now in a great position to get out of this.
Checked his swing at the top of the zone. Did he go? No. 1-2 on Fraley now. He is the 6th batter to the plate here in the second. I mean, that's a fastball with curveball-like spin on it, which in that case, maybe it didn't play to his factor, kind of rising up. But, boy. 1-2. Breaking ball low. 2-2 on Fraley now. Haven't looked at Major League averages this year, but the Major League average for a curveball is around 2,500 in terms of spin rate. That fastball was 2,500 a couple ago.
Life.
There's another one high. 3-2 on Fraley now.
This is what this league is for. Push comes to shove for Rasmussen.
Certainly there's a lot of quote, pitching instructors around. The main instructor last year with the runners moving here will cash in a run as Collette makes his way home. Mercedes to third, Lawrence to second, and now Fraley to first. One of the easier RBIs that Fraley will cash in, but to finish the point, certainly a lot of pitching instructors around. Mitch Aker is the new identified pitching coordinator, with Shane McCaddy moving into the larger role, taking over and overseeing the league. First pitch to Stevenson, a fastball that slides in for strike one. Justin Orenduff kind of available from afar as a consultant. He was the former director of baseball operations here. Owner of DVS as well, Delivery Value System. 0-1 on the ground to Lambert. Feeds across the diamond for the third out. Able to tie up this, or at least split the difference in half, I should say. 2-1, still the Unicorns lead off 4 walks and a run here in the second.
Every summer, my family loves to have a neighborhood movie night in our backyard. And with my Chevy Blazer, I can head out and get everything we need for a great night. It has plenty of room for picking up friends, and the available hands-free liftgate is perfect for loading unhandy supplies. You know, it may be movie night, but my Blazer is the main attraction wherever I go.
Lease a 2022 Blazer 2LT for just $239 a month for 24 months. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
Make your move with a quick and easy mortgage from Genesis Credit Union. We have mortgages to fit your life. Genesis Credit Union. Visit us today.
Slide into a new home. Work with a local mortgage pro who works for you. Get a cheaper, faster, easier home loan. Find a mortgage broker near you today at findamortgagebroker.com.
Well, we've talked about it a little bit on the air, but in the stadium, they're playing the footage of Logan Gillespie making his Major League debut for the Orioles. It's been a few weeks now. May 17th was his first game, which was 10 days ago. He got sent down, I believe, just for a short period, but call up again. He pitched on the 24th of May, gave up a run, but then shut out the Yankees on a one-hit performance on the 25th. So how about that? 3 out of the 4 of your first appearances against the New York Yankees.
The Bronx Bombers are a tough team to face, but Jeremy, you got to see them in person, got to see Gillespie in person as well.
Yeah, I was at the Yankee game on Tuesday, I believe it was, at Yankee Stadium, and kind of forgot about it for a moment. Here's the first pitch to Kevin Lambert as he looks at a fastball outside. And then the PA announcer's like, now pitching, for the Baltimore Orioles, Logan Gillespie. And I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. It kind of comes full circle, even though I didn't cover Logan. It's certainly cool to, be in the stadium for a moment like that as the ground ball is fouled on the third baseline.
Did he say Logan Gillespie, formerly of the Eastside Diamond Hoppers?
He did not. No. I was thinking that in my head, though.
Yeah. You said it. You said it to the people around you.
I did. To my wife and baby daughter, yes. Here's the 1-1. Broke his bat early in the season. That's not something you like to see. As he'll deposit that down the third baseline. Lambert, Parkinson, and John Hodo, 7, 8, 9 to bat here in the second inning. And it's a long way to go get a new one down the third baseline there.
It's like walking down to the corner store, to buy a drink and a bag of chips. You think it's short, and all of a sudden you check your watch, you've been gone for 15 minutes.
Really makes you think extra about striking out, too, I'm sure.
Right. I'm sure it doesn't do any favors for Austin Shea on the bump either, though, having to just sit there and wait. As we mentioned, he's a guy who likes to go quick.
Now the 1-2, slurve that looked like it was going to hit the hands of Lambert for a moment, kind of curved along the edge of the plate there.
Brave from Lambert to just stay in there and stare at that one, just spin on it.
Fastball high, a little bit different look to that one. 3-2 on Lambert. Boy, we had a lot of 3-ball counts in this game.
On both sides.
Already 6 walks surrendered by Unicorn pitching as that one hits him. Ouch. Just below the shoulder blade there. As Lambert will take his base, and Matt Parkinson will come to the plate.
I think we are seeing the effect of the rain delay has had on these two starting pitchers. Certainly expected both of these guys to have better stuff and better days all around. Again, they both still have a lot of pitches left to go as far as the pitch count. Going to see them both for a few more innings, but
now the 1-0. Could just tell it wasn't right off the hand there, the way Shea reacted. Kind of telegraphed it towards home plate.
it's hard to face that first batter for 5, 6, 7 pitches and then walk them and start right where you were with no outs, but now with a runner on.
On the ground to Collette, feeds to second in time, over to first, not quite. As Collette couldn't quite get enough behind it. So that's the first out of the inning. Now John Hodo, the bottom of the order, will make his way back to the plate. So Galassi and Bolin, the 2 run scorers for the Unicorns. Kind of remarkable, we've only seen 1 run scratch across for the Beavers, given the amount of walks they've collected. They still have not collected a hit. 6 walks in 2 innings of work, and only 1 has been cashed in. That was Collette's back in the second. 1-0, fastball kind of bends around the plate. 2-0 on Hodo now. See fellow USPBL player Adrian Cook chime in on Facebook. Hello, Adrian. Hope you're doing well. Playing out in Mexico now after playing in the Atlantic League for about 6 games last year after USPBL ball. 2-1 on Hodo. Cook had just a .383 ERA here through 40 innings of work. Heavy fastball for Adrian. Best of luck to him going forward. 2-1, fastball away. 3-1 on John Hodo now. We talked about it earlier, but it's a dead wind here today, which is not something you see often at the ballpark. With the highway behind us and just kind of how it's positioned, usually swirling out. Hodo hits one into left center field. It's going to drop. First and second with 1 out. Some speed on the base pass as well. Now the top of the order, Drew Galassi.
Yeah, going back to your wind point, Jeremy, too, especially with a rainy, stormy-ish. It's been mainly overcast, but there's been spots of the sky that really looked gross today. And
that's a good description.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect it to just be as calm as it has been.
I'm sure everybody huddled in the concourse grandstands area was thinking the same thing. Gross. First pitch to Drew. Big swing, but popped it up. Likely going to be out of Mercedes' reach as it ends up towards the umbrellas down there. You look at the radar now, though. There is still some rain in the area, but again, it's just kind of bending below Utica. Magically, going through Warren and Detroit and Livonia.
It's that bubble. That's why we're playing and the Tigers aren't.
But it looks fairly clear after that through the early hours of the morning. Field will have some time to dry out.
So I can go through this rain all day and not go to sleep with it raining, is what you're telling me?
Yeah, so you like to sleep when you rain?
Yes, I love it, yeah.
That was reverse. 0-1, swing and a miss.
I like the rain when I sleep, yeah.
You like to sleep when you rain.
Right.
I'm with you on that.
Particularly thunderstorms.
Mm-hmm.
I am a big thunderstorm fan. Watching, sitting through. The only thing I don't like is driving through them.
True.
But if I can sit in bed or sit on the porch, and stay dry, I might add.
0-2, Hardy fastball, 90 miles an hour in on the hands, and that for out number 2.
Next up, the third baseman, number 3, Eric Ramirez.
Now Eric Ramirez, we had a fielder's choice back in the first. Shea would love to just retire the side right here. Obviously, he had the leadoff hit by pitch. That's since been retired after the fielder's choice. Still 2 on here. Soft contact got Hodo aboard. Big swing by Ramirez into left center field, but that one going to drop again. Parkinson coming around third. He will score. Safe at third is John Hodo barely, as Mercedes nearly slapped the tag on him. And behind the play, Ramirez able to feed to second base.
Well, that's a pretty nice welcome to the USPBL and to professional ball for Eric Ramirez. Good awareness to see where Lawrence was going to throw that once that ball dropped into left center field, just in that pit between short, center, and left, and able to get down to second and now get in scoring position and keep his team away from a force out.
First pitch to Bolin away. RBI single back in the first for Malik. First baseman here today. He had quite the Division III career. Some big time power numbers. Now the 1-0. Chopped on the ground, foul. Slugged .674 this season in college, hit 15 home runs. Doesn't always directly translate like that, obviously, from any level of college to professional, but something to track as his season goes on this year. Now the 1-1. Fastball fading low, and something to think about as well. The competition is not over in terms of you making an opening day roster. Obviously, pro ball is very competitive based. Not to say college isn't, but it's just a different kind of competitiveness as Shea steps off. But they also have the college showcase, which is going to happen in 3 to 4 weeks. Fastball on the outer edge, 3-1 now. Hodo on third, Ramirez on second. Big 3-1 coming. Just missed. The bases are loaded again. This time the first for the Unicorns. It's just going to be one of those games, I think, today, huh?
Make sure you got enough ink in that pen for your scorebook there.
The blue pen's running out.
Oh, boy.
The red pen's fine here.
Yeah, I would hope. Red's not usually the primary color of a scorebook.
True. I'm going to use that as my secondary here.
Right.
Sakopoulos with a walk back in the first. Still looking for him to showcase that power here at the USPBL as he takes a hearty rip here and lifts it foul.
It's coming for sure. Sakopoulos, Castro, we've already seen it from Childress. We know what Bolin can do, as you mentioned, at the college level. These are 4 guys who, if I'm any opposing pitcher, I am really not looking forward to facing at any point.
Already the 7th man to the plate, the 0-1. In on the hands and foul.
Especially a guy like Ari, who you know what he can do. He's a guy who's poised for power, and you don't want to see him standing a few feet in front of you with the bases loaded behind you, that's for sure. Shea's ahead in the count, though, 0-2. He can really go anywhere here. One mistake he can't make is just to hang something over the heart.
See if he ties him up inside with that fastball. The 0-2 does try to go there, but missed his spot as Ortiz has to keep it from the backstop.
What a nice diving play by Ortiz to essentially save a run.
Yeah, he had that nice tag earlier as well.
High pressure situation here. Both we've seen now the batter and the pitcher each take time. No surprise. Utica can really bust this game open here.
Swing and a miss. Sakopoulos goes down. The second K of the inning for Shea. And the game stays right where it is. 3-1. Utica scores another here in the second on the USPBL network.
Why are all these business owners smiling? Because they rely on Tryon to handle difficult and time-consuming HR tasks like payroll, benefits administration, and more. Working with one of the nation's top professional employer organizations provides access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans and Tryon's team of attorneys and HR experts. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
We joined Green Path and instantly felt a support around us.
They developed a plan on paper, and this is how we're going to do it.
The plan that they gave me was something that was sustainable. It was something I could do. It was actually lowering my payments monthly by hundreds of dollars.
Choosing Green Path is a no-brainer.
Jeremy Otto and Brendan Shabath to bring the call here today. So glad you could tune in. PJ Gradowski, your director, here today as well. Marcus Page, Ryan Sullivan, Eric Whitfield. Three men due up here in the third inning. Page with a walk back in that first before your next man hit into a double play. 4 walks by Rasmussen in the second. One to Collette, who came around to score, one to Mercedes, another to Saywan Lawrence, and then Fraley was the final batter to reach. Already cut on the splitter there is back to the screen and foul, 1-1.
Yeah, it wasn't the best inning for Rasmussen. There's activity in the Unicorns bullpen, possibly see Carsey Walker this inning if it doesn't go right for Rasmussen, but he's still got a chance to make up for it. Get a 1-2-3 inning, maybe only 4 batters here.
1-2. Ooh, that looked like a decent splitter as well, but Parkinson couldn't hold on. 2-2 on Page. Swing and a miss. Second K tonight.
Next up, the designated hitter number 2, Ryan Sullivan.
It's exactly how Rasmussen wanted to start this inning. Not too many pitches in that at bat. Worked it well, was ahead of Page most of the time, and was able to get him swinging.
Now Ryan Sullivan. That one in on the hands. So you see Ari Sakopoulos playing well to the left of the second base bag. They have confidence that Drew Galassi, who's normally a center fielder, can cover a lot of ground. And obviously with this righty power hitter at the plate, it's a decent spot to have him play as well. Curveball, chopped foul. We've talked about the splitter for Rasmussen, and you wonder, why splitter? It's not an ultra-popular pitch these days, certainly. Waiting on the 0-2. Oh, curveball that hit him. Second hit batter we have seen in this game. And from several guys, and I know we've talked about this last week if you were listening, but still interesting, several guys said, hey, look, I can't throw the changeup. I'm going to try the splitter. Maybe a coach along the way suggested it. There's another pitcher, I can't quite put my finger on who it is right now, that said because his hands were too big, which is interesting as well.
Yeah, if your hands are too big, it makes it really awkward to try to throw that changeup, and especially the way you release the ball. The splitter's just a little bit more natural. Takes up less area with your hands.
Quickly 0-1 on Whitfield.
Boy, Rasmussen really has to be kicking himself for hitting Sullivan there. Just nicked him, didn't even get a whole lot of the body, was ahead 0-2.
Floated into center field for a base hit. So back-to-back base runners again here in the third. That's the first hit of the ball game for the Beavers. 4 on the board already for the Unicorns.
They broke up the no-hitter.
They did. No-hitter in the third inning, which is taking a bit long to get to for a variety of reasons. The walks, but certainly the rain delay, which kept us out of commission for about 40 minutes. But we are able to play baseball here today. Kudos to the new tarp. That certainly helped.
It really did. The infield looks beautiful now.
On the ground and through. We'll see if they stretch Sullivan here. In shallow center field is Galassi. A dart to home plate, and Parkinson finishes it off. Galassi with the hose in right field for the second out here in the third inning.
Surprised that Josh Hines sent Sullivan from second all the way home. It was a closer play than I thought, and you said it, a dart from Galassi out there and right. Very momentous throw and out there.
So we have seen 2 runners thrown out at home plate here today.
We're only in the third inning. We got a lot of baseball left.
Sure do. Fastball swing and a miss by Collette there. Or actually, that's Nafi Mercedes. Collette is aboard at first. Now the 0-1. Fastball tails away. So Whitfield standing on third after all that as well. Runner moving to second, 1-1. Swinging is Mercedes as he fouls it off. Here with 2 outs and now 2 strikes. Collette trying to swipe a bag.
Cameron Collette, a guy who has already stolen a base today, is certainly run a lot more than I would have expected. He takes that short lead, too, and somehow just gets a nice jump.
2-2 on Mercedes. Beavers would love to scratch across at least a run here. They've got to feel like they've been really close to quite a few with all the walks and the hit batter mixed in the equation as well. Now the 2-2. Curveball low.
It's a pretty good layoff from Mercedes. That curveball had a lot of movement. Didn't quite think it would get all the way down almost into the dirt by the time it got to the plate. Started above his head.
Runner in motion again. That was on the 3-2 pitch, so no harm, no foul, and Mercedes walks. The 7th walk surrendered here, and that might be the end of the line for Rasmussen as Jim Essien takes a slow trot. The whole infield gathering around as well. And maybe it is. It is the end. As Rasmussen is finished here today. We'll take a look at your relief pitcher, Jean Montanet, when we get back here in the third inning on the USPBL Network. Stick with us.
While credit cards help pay for everyday expenses, carrying a balance each month can be tough on your budget. Since interest rates compound daily, the amount you owe gets bigger and bigger each day the balance goes unpaid. A Green Path debt management program helps you regain control of your finances by lowering credit card interest rates, reducing your monthly payments, stopping late fees, improving overall financial health, paying off credit card debt in 5 years or less. Our caring certified counselors work with you to understand your financial picture and support you on the steps to get control of high-interest debt and achieve financial health. Call 844-572-5921 and get control of high-interest credit card debt today.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Well, new pitcher on the mound here for the Utica Unicorns. It's Montaner, 6 foot tall, 175-pounder out of Puerto Rico. Went to Vernon College first for junior college, and then Oklahoma Arts and Sciences, which was certainly a popular school last year for landing players here in the league. He inherits the bases loaded. Still no run in quite yet here in the third. We saw the lone run for the Beavers scored in the second. Here's Ortiz, the 8th place hitter, as dips in the slider for strike one.
Montaner, we talked about strikeout rate and walk rate earlier. A guy who in college had fantastic splits for those. Plus 10.5 strikeouts per 9, only 4 walks.
Fly ball to center. Sikopoulos is under it for the third out here in the third inning. So again, the bases become loaded. 2 more walks in the inning, but Montaner able to strand it for the fifth third out of the game here in the third inning. JJ the Field General is always presented by Michigan First Credit Union here at the ballpark. You will bring some water out there. Might need some hot chocolate here tonight.
I mean, obviously you're not going to be against water, but wouldn't mind a hot cocoa right now.
I actually need some water, so if JJ can hear that.
Yeah. I mean, he's up here sometimes. Just tell him to bring 2 more bottles. I left mine at home today. Unprepared broadcaster.
Just don't do it on the doubleheader days, okay?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to be in big trouble then. I'll have to run home between games.
Time for your DTE Energy Kid Race the mascot here today. It's Mark facing Lancelot. Mark has got the Hoppers colors going here today. They'll play tomorrow against the Mammoths on a 7:05 first pitch. Uh-oh.
Oh, Mark.
Oh, Mark is going the wrong way.
You got to go the whole base path. There you go, buddy.
And Lancelot gets maybe confused by that as well, and Mark is going to cruise his way to victory. And Mark wins your DTE Energy Kid Race the mascots here today.
I don't want to rain on the parade, but Mark didn't touch home.
He didn't?
I'm just letting you know.
Oh, boy. Nobody saw it but you, though.
Yeah.
Well, tomorrow it is country music night at the ballpark. There'll be live music from the Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union soundstage in Wright.
You a country music guy?
You know, I wasn't. I'm kind of in between. It's not something I love, not something I completely hate. What do you think?
There's about 6 country songs that I like. And then other than that,
maybe they'll play all of them for you tomorrow.
If they play all 6, that'd be pretty cool.
It's certainly concert season, though.
Oh, yeah. I haven't been to a concert in forever, especially with the pandemic. I am excited to go back to one.
Then on Sunday, it's Bark in the Park, presented by Happy Tales Learning Center for Dogs. You can bring your 4-legged friend to the ballpark. 5th annual here at Jimmy John's Field. Fans interested in catching the game with their dog will be able to purchase tickets and pooch passes on uspbl.com. You must be 18 years or older to bring a dog, and only 1 dog per adult is allowed. Leandy Castro will lead off the 3rd inning here for the Unicorns. It is 5, 6, 7 due up. Long inning for Austin Shea in the 3rd as this one is popped up. Ortiz discarding the mask, but it ends up in the 2nd row.
That was a nasty pitch there from Austin Shea. Fastball that you kind of talked about earlier. Sometimes have that curveball spin rate. It just moved weird up in the zone.
Now the 0-1. Right at your face there.
I think we all had the same reaction to that one.
Looked like the slurve maybe with not as much movement on it. 2-1 on Castro. Has thrown a good amount of changeups here today. Here's the 2-1. Fly ball to left field, chasing Lawrence back. But he's well in front of the warning track. Is it just me, or do balls look like they're just
I thought
dying
that was gone. And Lawrence apparently thought it was further back too. The way that thing popped off his bat, that looked like it certainly had a chance to get out there towards the light pole and do some damage to that scoreboard.
And there's a couple balls, I believe, also hit by Unicorns in the 2nd inning that just kind of floated in to left center field as well.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because there's no wind here today, and the wind usually carries those balls a bit further, but
they got to that pit out there like we talked about earlier between left, short, and center, and just like you said, just died right in the middle.
Maybe it's the humidity in the air here today as Childress looks at a ball outside, 2-0. Fastball away. Quickly 3-0 to Noah Childress now. Shea has surrendered 2 walks in the 1st and 1 in the 2nd. Also a hit batter in that 2nd inning. And now add a walk here in the 3rd. Kevin Lambert, he was hit by that pitch to begin the 2nd inning. Could have been worse, certainly, for the Beavers. 2 runs scored in the 1st and a single run in the 2nd. The line score is a little bit deceiving. 3 runs off 4 hits and no errors for the Unicorns. 1 run off 2 hits and no errors for the Beavers. Certainly a lot of walks that don't show up there.
A lot left on base as well. This could definitely be a very different ball game with a few swings of the bat for both teams, I feel like.
Now the 1-0. Broke his bat. 2nd one shattered here today. Collette can't make that swooping catch. So the bat goes down a hero.
Next up, the catcher, number 23, Matt Parkinson.
It was Lambert the first time that was broken, right?
I thought so.
Yeah, because he had to make that long walk down the third base line, and then he was hit by the pitch. So
yeah,
loses 2 bats here today.
That'll hurt your pockets more than it hurts your hands or your feelings or anything.
Third inning today brought to you by Budweiser. We thank Budweiser for their partnership with the USPBL. Matt Parkinson, fielder's choice in the second, came around to score. First pitch to him here. Strike 1. John Hodo waits on deck. He's the bottom of the order. Modest in the outfield in terms of spacing and depth. The 0-1, slider away. 1-1 on Parkinson now, or the slur by Shea. So Childress on second. He had a 4-pitch walk. Lambert on first with a 1-0 single. Now the 1-1 off the end of the bat and back to the backstop there. So we told you about Bark in the Park on Sunday, a rare Monday game as well here at Jimmy John's Field. We'll start at 1:05 as well. The first 500 fans will receive a free Memorial Day hat courtesy of Chief Financial Credit Union. All active and retired military will get 1 free ticket to the game as well. You can redeem that ticket by calling the box office at 248-759-5278. Now the 1-2. Slurve that's fouled off. Again, that number 248-759-5278. Always good to have a free hat.
Yeah. And a Monday game.
Yeah.
Not going to have many of those either. Soon enough, we'll be on our regular summer schedule, the Thursday through Sunday. Doubleheader Saturdays. I'm excited for those.
2 6-inning games. Most of the, I guess you call it Monday through Friday. There's
Right.
no Tuesdays. There are a few Wednesdays mixed in. Will be 9 innings with the time limit. 1-2 line drive fading. Going to get down into left field. Childress had a late break. He'll have to pull on the brakes at third. Kind of a tough ball because it definitely hung up there long enough. So you had to kind of filter between second and third. So now the base is loaded for the third time in this game with John Hodo coming back to the plate.
Yeah, that's a smart decision by Childress there. As you mentioned, that ball hung up. I thought Lawrence might have had a chance to get there had he made a clean break early. It looked like he kind of got caught up in the sky a little bit with where that ball was going to drop. And Childress loading the bases with 1 out rather than trying to stretch that all the way home is a smart decision, especially with a guy like John Hodo coming up to the plate.
The corners are in, the middle of the infield back, and looking for that double play, which would end the inning. First pitch to Hodo. Fastball outside. There has not been any action in the Beavers' pen until now. They do have a couple, quote, scheduled arms that they would like to get in at some point today. And that is sneered by Mercedes. Tags the bag over to first and a pick. Got him! Wow, what a play. It goes 5-3 for a double play. Nafy Mercedes flashing the leather here at the end of the third inning and keeps the game right where it is. 3-1 Unicorns.
Every summer, my family loves to have a neighborhood movie night in our backyard. And with my Chevy Blazer, I can head out and get everything we need for a great night. It has plenty of room for picking up friends, and the available hands-free liftgate is perfect for loading unhandy supplies. You know, it may be movie night, but my Blazer is the main attraction wherever I go.
Lease a 2022 Blazer 2LT for just $239 a month for 24 months. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
Throughout your life, from big moments to ones well-earned, we're your financial guardian angel. Alliance Catholic Credit Union.
Unicorns in the lead by a score of 3-1 for the play-by-play of innings 4 and 5. Here's Brendan Shabath.
Thank you very much, Jeremy. Stepping up to lead things off for the Beavers this inning will be Saywan Lawrence. Jean Montaner on the mound for the Unicorns came in a pitching change in the last inning with the bases loaded and 2 outs, forced a fly out to center field by Omar Ortiz to get out of the inning. Rasmussen was the starter for the Unicorns. He finishes with 2 2/3 innings pitched, 7 walks, 2 strikeouts, and 1 run. Montaner, as Jeremy mentioned, comes from 3 years of college ball at Oklahoma Sciences and Arts. A sub-4 ERA there and almost 200 innings pitched, 84 walks, 223 strikeouts. Played for Lafayette in the Prospect League last year. 38 innings there, 30 walks, 45 Ks. Here's Lawrence for the second time today. Had a walk back in the second inning. Lawrence hits this one down the right field line, foul. It'll be Lawrence. And then the order will flip to Fraley and Stevenson at the top in the 1 and 2 slot. Lefty-righty matchup. Montaner, one of the few lefties on this Unicorns roster. Another one fouled away. Slapped down the right field line again by Lawrence. Montaner is actually the only left-handed pitcher on this Unicorn staff. The only left-hander for the Beavers is Zach Blankenship. Here's the 0-2. Slapped right back to the mound. Montaner fields it. Flip over to first. And easy out number 1. The put-out goes 1-3 as Lawrence is retired at the top of the order. So that'll flip the order to bring up Tyler Fraley. 0 for 1 in a walk today. That walk was actually an RBI walk with the bases loaded back in the second inning. That's the Beavers' only run today. They've only got 2 hits in the game, but they have quite a few base runners. This one's over to right field, and it will drop for a base hit for Tyler Fraley. First pitch swinging, and he gets on. So Fraley with just the 3rd hit today, as I mentioned, brings up Cody Stevenson. 9 runners left on base today for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers, and just 1 run total to show for it. The lefty Montaner comes set. Quickly going is Fraley. The throw down to second is in time. A nice throw there from Matt Parkinson. We've seen the Beavers run a lot, and Fraley got caught for it this time for out number 2.
And the Unicorns have been good at that in the beginning part of the year. I mean, obviously they had the throw that kind of filtered into center field a bit earlier as well, but that right on the money. The rain falling a little bit harder.
The first runner caught stealing today for the Beavers is, yeah, you can see it on the cameras there now. It just picks up out of nowhere. It was fine up until about a pitch ago. The 1-1 to Stevenson. On the outside of the plate, 1 and 2.
What happened to that spot on the radar?
I know. Where'd our lip go? We had the bubble. With 2 outs, the 1-2 to Stevenson. Outside, Parkinson tried to frame it just a little bit, missed it, 2 and 2. That one's in there for strike 3. Parkinson knew it, got Stevenson looking, and that is a 1-2-3 inning for Jean Montaner as we head to the bottom of the fourth. Still 3-1 Unicorns here from Jimmy John's Field on the US PBL Network.
There are many things you can rely on in this world, like a sunny day brightening your mood, your mom baking the world's best apple pie, and never a dull moment in running your business. And when it comes to time-consuming HR tasks, you can rely on Tryon. Tryon can handle payroll and taxes, employee benefits, and more, so you can stay focused on attracting and retaining the best talent. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
Austin Shea comes back out to start the bottom of the fourth. On the bump for the Beavers. For the Unicorns, it's the top of the order, Galassi, Ramirez, and Bolin to lead things off. Shea, as we mentioned in the pregame, throughout the start of this game, has about a 90 pitch count maximum today. Struggled a little bit. Has given up 5 hits. Had a few walks. He's up to 3 now. 4, make that.
Now, in no means would I want to be playing in this right now, but it's not coming down as heavy as it looks, if that means anything.
Earlier today, we talked about it off air. Those raindrops looked heavy. They looked like snowballs. But these ones seem a little bit lighter. They're floating through the sky. As that ball floats short, 1-0.
Let's not talk too much about snow. It could actually happen.
Oh, God. I think you're right. We don't want any bad mojo up here. Galassi a walk in the first and strike out in the second. This one's barreled to right center in the gap. That's going to get down. This is going to be extra bases for Drew Galassi. He'll cruise into second base as Fraley quickly gets it in, and a leadoff double for Drew Galassi and the Unicorns.
We've talked about most of the balls dying completely when they get in the air. That was kind of the exception. It kind of cruised a bit more, maybe a little bit higher than some of the balls we've seen here today, but had some nice tail on it as well and floated towards the gap. And a nice swing by Galassi. They were kind of playing him in and over in center field. The jacket of the umpire says it all right there. Look at he's just soaked.
Infield appears okay. Foul territory, a completely different story by the dugouts. Shea with a runner on the initial offering. Low ball 1. Ramirez, the newcomer, just arriving to the USPBL from Lenore-Rhine, Division II school in North Carolina. Reached on a fielder's choice in the second inning. Grounded out back in the first. That one's on the outside edge for strike 1. The 1-1 from Shea. High, checked his swing. Did he go around? He did. Kind of went too far, just trying to stay out of the way of that pitch. An unfortunate mistake there for Ramirez. Now 1-2.
And we've kind of seen a lot of the breaking balls / change-ups in on the hands. That's no exception there. Just couldn't hold up.
Galassi, the runner on second. Shea ahead in the count. That one's inside again. Too far, though.
For Ramirez, nice way to start his pro career, just coming straight from college. Always want to start it out right with a hit early, get that away. Able to do that in the second inning.
He's finding a job right out of college, too. That's not bad. Count even at 2. Inside, got him swinging. Strike 3 up in the hands again, Jeremy. And Ramirez goes down for his first strikeout of his professional career.
I've Obviously, Shea not as effective as he would have liked here today. A little bit more effective in his first outing through 4 innings, but some things to take away. That fastball in on the hands, and in that case, the curveball has been very tough for especially the righties. He's faced a lot of righties in this Unicorns lineup.
Another righty, Malik Bolin, waves and misses at that one. Bolin 1 for 1 with a walk today. Scored a run back in the first inning after he had a single to right center. Oh, 1 is inside on the edge, right on the black for strike 2.
Well, you could see the reaction there by Bolin, kind of got the happy feet saying that it might curve towards his hands, but no, it was right kind of down the heart of the plate in the end.
Oh, 2 with a runner on from Shea. Bolin swings and misses again. Back-to-back strikeouts for Austin Shea, just what he needed after a leadoff double from Galassi. And now the Unicorns in trouble of stranding Galassi out there at second. Sakopoulos comes to the dish.
Well, the LOB column of the scorebook here today is going to be pretty high. I think regardless of how we finish, a lot of walks stranded here today and just base runners in general.
9 for the Beavers, 8 right now for the Unicorns. 9th one right out there at second if Sakopoulos can't bring him home. Lefty-righty matchup. Sakopoulos fouls that one short right behind the plate for strike 1.
Obviously, regardless of the outcome of this inning, not much that Drew Galassi can do about it, but I think he's done a really good job of setting the table at the top of the lineup here in the first couple games of the year.
Certainly.
Brings that rare combination of a guy who can hit at that spot, have power with it, have speed with it.
He's ready to hit right away, too. You won't have too many very long at-bats as far as pitch count goes, but if you can get out there and take 1 pitch or 2 and quickly get on base, it's going to be advantageous for, like you said, the rest of the roster.
It's pretty daunting when you have a guy with that much potential power at the top, knowing what's after it as well.
This whole order is daunting, including this guy who hits it to left field. Lawrence slides over, and he's there to make the grab for out number 3. So the Unicorns strand another no runs as we head to the 5th inning. Still 3-1 Utica here from Jimmy John's Field on the US PBL Network.
As your neighbor who works at Ascension, Michigan, and a cardiologist who's practiced for more than 20 years, I'm going to keep asking, how are you feeling today? Your care can't wait. Getting care sooner can mean catching things before they get worse. At Ascension, Michigan, our ERs and our hospitals and other sites of care are maintaining strict precautions for your safety. Studies have shown that people will get care sooner if they're encouraged by their doctors, family, and friends. Get the care you need at getascensionmichigancare.com.
We're the financial champion of Michiganders. Whether you're a goal-getter or dream chaser, an empty nester or up-and-comer, anyone in Michigan can bank with us. Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union.
Portillo's Dizzy Dog Challenge going on. Also some mound and plate maintenance here just about halfway through this ball game.
The rain has pretty much subsided, at least for now, so they're just trying to patch up what maybe got ruined a bit during what was a pretty big stretch of 10 minutes or so of fairly heavy rain. Nothing like we had earlier. That was really heavy.
I'm completely and utterly surprised that here in the state of Michigan we had a random downpour for 10 minutes and now it's gone with no sign of it ever being here.
Well, the temperature is going to swing up again here pretty soon. It's going to be 91, I think, on Tuesday.
Some people were having the debate earlier, I heard on the radio, when summer starts. It's after Memorial Day. It's, when the weather changes. It's when the kids get out of school. For me, still being in school, when it ends and the weather is consistently above 65, that is summer.
Yes, 70, 71, that's kind of that perfect temperature. For some.
I don't mind that. I love that temperature. Great for baseball, great for golf as well. Another summer love of mine.
Mountaineer back out there here for the 5th inning. It'll be interesting to see what he does here, but obviously proving himself for a larger role here today with what he's done. Came in with the bases loaded in the 3rd and immediately got a fly out. Allowed a 1-out base runner in the 4th, but his catcher Parkinson helped him out fairly quickly with a caught stealing down at second base, and then struck out the second place batter in Cody Stevenson. So far so good for John.
He's looked pretty steady in the 2 appearances that we've seen this season from him, this being the 2nd. Here he faces the power of the order, Marcus Page, as this one's to the gap and right. Sliding over is Galassi, and he'll make the grab for out number 1. So 1 pitch and 1 out for the Unicorns.
And Galassi playing right field here today. A little bit of lineup shuffling because of the newer additions, and talked about it a little bit with Adrian Guzman before the games. Obviously, there's a lot of guys that they can slide in at the corners. That's why you're seeing Ari Sakopoulos playing center field and just the outfield in general to start the year.
The DH, Ryan Sullivan, 0 for 1 today, hit by pitch. Back in the 3rd, made it all the way around the base paths, only to be cut down at the 88th foot right at home plate.
He looks like a baseball player there, doesn't he?
Yeah, sure does.
Get the tight out.
The pine tar on the helmet, the dirt stains on that play at the plate back in the 3rd. Right now he looks at an even count, 1-1 with 1 out. Lefty-righty, swing and a miss from Sullivan for strike 2. Took a big cut there. Now Mountaineer ahead in the count.
Yeah, nice change of speeds there.
The 1-2. Low 74, ball 2.
Just trying to go right back down there. Don't blame him in that scenario. Good job by Sullivan to recognize it right away. Probably a little bit easier to recognize it that time around.
Count is even. Sullivan hits this one to short. Lambert is there and boots it. There will be no throw to first from Eric Ramirez. And so Sullivan reaches on the error from Kevin Lambert.
That'll be the first error ruled of this ball game. That's just case in point where if you're Ryan Sullivan, got to run all the way through the bag, because even Ramirez, I mean, if he didn't run that out as much as he did, probably had a chance to potentially throw him out across the diamond. Good job, though, all the way around.
Now stepping up the number 5 hitter, Eric Whitfield. Whitfield looks at a strike on the outside edge. Whitfield popped out to center back in the 2nd. And that had a single to center also in the 3rd. Throws Sullivan back to first, does Montaner.
Yeah, John's kind of been a starter all throughout his career before this point. So right now they have him slotted in as reliever.
And like we've talked about, he's done well, seems comfortable in that role so far. As this one's hit to center by Whitfield, coming in, diving, making the play, Ari Sakopoulos. He looks fine out there in center to me, Jeremy. Out number 2 for the Unicorns.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those reactionary plays. You have to read it off the bat right away, and then if you don't, you're kind of caught in between. Do I dive? Do I not? He committed to diving right away and made a nice catch in the end.
Sullivan was able to safely get back to first before there was a throw. So after the web gem play from Ari Sakopoulos, it's now Cameron Collette. Collette a single and a walk today. Sullivan with a large lead. He'll go down to second. The throw from Parkinson up the line. Safe. It looked like Hodo might have dropped that ball as Sullivan slid in.
Sullivan hurting a bit heading into second base here.
He was a guy who we talked about, kind of pulled that hamstring in spring training. Says he's okay. Looks like he might be a little bloody on the face. Chance that Hodo might have hit him with the cleat maybe as he slid down there head first into second.
It's hard to tell. I've watched about 5-6 times, but on our replay monitor here.
Appears that he's going to be okay. Shake it off and stand out there in scoring position with 2 outs. Another stolen base for the Beavers. It's their 3rd of the day. Only caught stealing once. That was Tyler Fraley last inning. Collette faces the 1-0. Swings and fouls it off.
Not the guy necessarily you'd expect to go.
Yeah, I didn't expect it at all. And then I looked down and saw that big lead, and Malik Bolin, the first baseman, wasn't there covering, and Sullivan made the smart decision to go.
And you could see Bolin kind of at the last second maybe realizing how big of a lead he had. He was creeping in, but it was too late.
The 1-1 is fouled back again by Collette. Yeah, I think that's like we talked about too. Sullivan, I don't think, got a sign to take off there. Just realized the situation around him, had good awareness, and went for it. Collette behind in the count, facing the 1-2. Montaner, the lefty. Outside, Parkinson was ready to go back to the dugout for out number 3. Thought it was strike number 3. Instead, it's even at 2 apiece. The 2-2. Way inside. Count is full. As Parkinson collects it and will look Sullivan back to second base.
Well, one thing that John has not done thus far, and maybe this is the announcer's jinx, but he hasn't walked a batter. That was certainly a problem for Rasmussen here early on. Walked 7 through 3 complete today, or 2 2/3. In danger of doing so here.
Right. With the 3-2, 2 outs. This one's up the middle. Hodo dives to make the play, can't do it. Sullivan's going to come around from third to score easily. A clutch 2-out single from Cameron Collette scores a run, and the Beavers have made it a 3-2 ball game.
Yeah, one of the harder hit balls here today, just kind of on the ground and through. Sullivan had a really good read on it around second base, so able to easily score and not draw a throw from Sikopoulos, who's playing fairly shallow today and over in center field. But regardless, nice job by the Beavers to inch a bit closer here.
And now Nafi Mercedes with 2 outs and a runner on. High and away for ball 1. Mercedes, as you talked about, Jeremy, Montaner hasn't given up a walk yet. Mercedes has walked twice in his only 2 appearances today. Mercedes hits this one to right. It's going to drop right in front of Galassi. Runner stops at second. That was a little bit closer than Cameron Collette would have liked. Back-to-back singles for the Beavers. Leave 2 on and 2 out for Omar Ortiz.
In general, that's the kind of hit we've seen here today. Not the best of contact, but get enough of the barrel on it. Able to sink in the outfield.
Really haven't seen any hard hit balls today. Maybe 1 or 2 that got pulled over there to left field for the Unicorns that Lawrence was able to make the play on. But other than that, you're certainly right. They've all been kind of bloopers.
And this is the kind of moment in the game for the Unicorns where you really got to be careful. Obviously, one swing could change it quite a bit. A 2-run lead all of a sudden for the Beavers. Don't want that to happen.
Ortiz a strikeout and flyout today. Fouls this one away 0-1. Ortiz, the native of Orlando, Florida, 25 years of age. Swing and a miss there, 0-2 behind the count.
We talked about it kind of off air before the game here today. The Beavers, maybe the older of the group. They have the oldest guy in the league in Eric Sandness. Kind of fudging the rules a bit just because of his circumstances. It makes sense. Cancer survivor. Took a few years off, and by no means is he a charity case in terms of being in this league, though. I mean, he's a legit 90 to 92 at the least.
Stands at 6'6". Certainly has the drive and motivation. You can see him in practice and talking to him, and a guy who has a chance to be one of the best pitchers in the league as Ortiz swings and misses for out number 3. But the Unicorns do a little bit of damage, get one on the board as Ryan Sullivan comes around from the Cameron Collette RBI, and that makes it 3-2 Unicorns here in the middle of the 5th.
Dunham Sports is a proud partner of the USPBL. Big names, low prices, delivering value since 1937.
At Fifth Third Bank, we're working hard to make banking a Fifth Third better, which means we put 166.7% into everything we do.
I think you can only give 110%.
Well, with free checking, fraud protection services, and an automatic savings tool to help you quickly reach your goals, 166.7% is possible.
Oh, wait till my 8th graders hear about this. They're gonna be like, it's not possible. Well, yes it is.
This is banking, a Fifth Third better.
Back here from Jimmy John's Field on the USPBL Network, it's time for the bottom of the 5th with the Utica Unicorns behind the plate. And when it's time for baseball, it's time for beer. Two Hearted Ale has been named the #1 beer in America for the past 4 years by members of the American Home Brewers Association. Play ball with the best. Two Hearted Ale, the iconic American IPA from Bell's Brewery, Comstock, Michigan. Please drink responsibly. So a pitching change here for the Beavers. Zach Blankenship, the lefty, 6'2", 210, 24 years old from Fleming Island, Florida, will take the bump.
He's got a fastball, a slider, a changeup, and a splitter/forkball, he calls it. So pretty deep arsenal.
Blankenship played 3 college seasons at Valdosta State. Another good strikeout rate to walk rate ratio, 8.9 strikeouts per 9 to 3 walks. 153 innings pitched back in college as well. 39 games, 29 of them starts, was primarily a starter at Valdosta State, taking over in relief role here in the USPBL. For Utica, it'll be the 5, 6, 7 hitters, Castro, Childress, and Lambert. We've talked about Castro and Childress along with Sakopoulos, the 4, 5, 6 trio in this lineup, the main dangerous power hitters on this Unicorns team. And it'll be no easy task for Zach Blankenship to come into the game and start it with Castro and Childress. Lefty-righty matchup with Castro and Blankenship. First pitch in for a strike.
And something he's been kind of working on lately is getting that slider to look a little harder so it's not as easy to pick up out of the hand. Tighter break.
Count is even at 1 apiece. So with Blankenship taking the rubber, Shea's day ends with 4 innings pitched, 4 walks, 3 runs, all of them earned, and 5 Ks. The 1-1 to Castro. Big swing and a miss inside on the hands at 91 from Blankenship. 1-2.
It's kind of where he tops out at. More consistently, 87 to 89.
This one's fouled away. Not enough room for anybody to get over there. Ortiz ditched the mask, but that one quickly got out of play back into the grandstands. Fifth inning brought to you by Dunham Sports, a proud sponsor of the USPBL. I just went to Dunham's the other day, picked up a brand new pair of baseball cleats for my slow pitch softball season.
Did you? Yeah. You hit a home run the other day.
I did. I had my debut on Sunday and had a decent day, 4 for 5, couple extra basers, and I did get one over the fence.
So we talking about 1,000 average right now, or?
Well, 800 in the first game. We'll see how much I can keep it up. I told myself if I hit less than 700 in slow pitch softball, I'll be disappointed. I am keeping stats this year, and this will be updated regularly throughout the season.
Okay. Send us a link.
Will do. We've got real baseball here with Blankenship and Castro. 2-2. That one's inside on Leandy Castro, and the count is now full. Nobody on, nobody out. Full count. Castro fouls it away again. Staying alive. Pesky for Blankenship's first at-bat. Our first face batter, I should say.
He goes from what I think was the splitter / forkball that runs really hard in on the hands, and then you go from 81 miles an hour in that pitch to 90, which has got to be a little bit head spinning for Castro, but does a good job of spooling it off.
Action in the Unicorns bullpen. Might be Montanair's day ended on the other side of this inning. 3-2 again. Castro hits this one deep to center. Going back is Fairley. He's at the track, stops and looks up and makes the grab. Another deep swing for Leandy Castro. He is teasing us with this power, Jeremy. We're going to see it soon, but not here.
And we talked to his assistant manager, Adrian Guzman, before the game as well. He thought he had, maybe not hit some out of the yard, but definitely hit some deeper and or that should have went to the warning track. That one, just the sound of it felt like it should have been out of here.
So Fraley gets the put out. It's out number 1 for the Beavers here in the bottom of the 5th. Now facing another power hitter in Noah Childress. Walk and a line out today. A single. That one's in there for strike 1. 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Beavers. 3 runs, 7 hits, 1 error for the Unicorns. So we're here in the bottom of the 5th. Nobody on and 1 out. The 0-1, Childress slaps it foul down the first base side.
There's Adrian down the first base line. Played in the league last year, got picked up a few years ago by the Minnesota Twins. Out of the USPBL, ended up coming back after being one of those COVID cuts when the minor leagues cut all their affiliates down. A lot of players had to go.
This one's popped up, right side, sliding over Stevenson. He'll make the grab. Out number 2 on the pop out to second from Noah Childress. Now here's Kevin Lambert. Single and hit by pitch today. Fouls this one away. Lambert, another guy similar to Castro, who we think is going to have some power, maybe not as much this season. He's had a few hard hit balls. Has the frame and setup. Somebody who's poised for some power. The 0-1. Hit to third. Mercedes, gloves, throws, stretching was Marcus Page for out number 3, and that will do it. The Beavers get 1 in the top of the 5th. The Unicorns get none. That leaves us at 3-2 here from Jimmy John's Field on the USPBL Network. It'll be Jeremy Otto with play-by-play in the 6th inning on the other side.
There are things you can rely on in this world, like your dog being happy to see you, coffee getting you through the day, and the government changing business regulations. And when it comes to navigating those regulations, you can rely on Tryon and its team of attorneys. Tryon can also tackle time-consuming HR tasks like payroll and employee benefits, so you can stay focused on growing your business. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Every summer, my family loves to have a neighborhood movie night in our backyard. And with my Chevy Blazer, I can head out and get everything we need for a great night. It has plenty of room for picking up friends, and the available hands-free liftgate is perfect for loading unhandy supplies. You know, it may be movie night, but my Blazer is the main attraction wherever I go.
Lease a 2022 Blazer 2LT for just $239 a month for 24 months. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
Check your checking. If your account doesn't get you pumped, amped, or geeked, make the switch to Genius Checking from Genesis Credit Union. It's just genius.
Welcome back to Jimmy John's Field, everyone. It's a tight game here tonight, 3-2. Some hard-hit balls lately have stayed in the park. Certainly the one we saw last inning. Sounded loud, but caught by Fraley in center field off the bat of Castro. He's teased everyone with possibly his first professional home run. Just hasn't come quite yet.
It'll come soon enough for Castro. There's no doubt about that.
New pitcher on the mound is Fiorito. It's a guy that they contemplating having to use here today. Weren't for sure whether they'd have to. They knew they wanted to work in Montaner, who just threw 2 1/3 innings. Camacho, also a guy they're looking to bring in. Carsey Walker, who was throwing at a point earlier. So we'll see how long they keep Fiorito out there.
Really expected to see Carsey Walker today, it sounded like. Might be one inning each for the rest of the bullpen the rest of the way here. We'll see. I thought Montaner did well enough, despite the 1 run, in the 2 innings that he had, to earn maybe one more inning, stretch it out before you go to the next guy in the bullpen. But
Fiorito with a 2-seam, a curveball, a slider, and a changeup as well. Graduate of Clark University, and 11 appearances for them here in 2022. First pitch fastball tails away from Seiwan Lawrence, leadoff batter. 9-1-2 due up in the 6th. Lawrence, Fraley, Stevenson. And who did that get a piece of? Maybe the catcher there as they try to buy some time. Home plate umpire here. Thank everyone for tuning in and sticking with us here today. Breaking ball inside. Certainly been a delayed start to this game. First pitch at around 7:50, scheduled for 7:05 Eastern here in Utica. The rain's come and went twice here today. 1-2. Sounded like he might have broke his bat too. That one popped into right for the first out.
Boy, we've had a lot of those today. If that's another one, I think it's the third, maybe fourth today, broken bat.
Chris Baker chimes in on Facebook, says, let's go Unicorns. Brett Blankenship watching today as well. Derek Burns, Shane, Dominic, Morel. We thank you all for tuning in here today. Tyler Fraley has a walk and a single thus far, as that's off the end of the bat, the fastball. Now the 0-1. Big swing and a miss. I think you're really seeing the outfielders respond to what they've seen here today. Those shallow dinkers that have just fallen in time after time. You see how shallow they're playing. Not too often you see that here at Jimmy John's Field with the wind blowing out most of the time. I'd say 50% of the time. It's fairly accurate.
Yeah. I think giving some credit, maybe respect in a different way to bigger hitters, where if you want to hit it past us and get it over our heads, then by all means you deserve to do that, because none of those balls today have done that. Everything has been a little bloop single over the head of the infield.
Now the 0-2. Breaking ball away. Spread out infield as well. There's a lot of room in the middle. As Fraley chips it off at the plate here. Again, we have Hoppers and Mammoths going at it tomorrow. They faced each other yesterday in a non-public game. Started at 1:05. We talked to you about the outing that Vasquez had. An arm to watch, certainly here in the USPBL. One, two, snuck inside the slider again. 2-2 now. Vasquez threw 75 pitches through 4 innings, no walks and 6 strikeouts. Gave up just 1 earned run. Guizdala roughed up early, but able to put it together in the second and third to not allow any more runs. 4 runs scored in that first. I believe 4 runs before even the second out was recorded. It was also Leha who saw 4 innings on the bump. Take a look at the very early Scott's standings here.
As we said earlier, battle for first place tonight. It's got to start somewhere, right?
Beavers looking to be right up there. Certainly a team that struggled out of the gate last year, signaling a fairly new-faced lineup and roster in general. Most of the arms are new. Godfrey is back from a couple years ago. Here's the 2-2. Fly ball to center. That one is going to stay very shallow, though. Sakopoulos coming in for the second out.
Again, Sakopoulos went back first for his first step. Thought that one might be a little bit deeper. It's almost like there's an invisible wall out there that these balls just hit and die right in front of those outfielders.
Here's a look at the non-existent wind. First pitch strike. Same on the American flag. They were at least moving a bit, but not now. This is Pang getting a pinch hit appearance, wearing a different number here today. Usually number 1. Is that one buried to the outer edge, 0-2?
That's probably going to happen a few times this year with all the newcomers and the departures.
Now the 0-2. Fastball away. No action in either pen currently, so that most likely means that Blankenship will get the 6th after his 1-2-3 5th. Haven't had a lot of those today. Now the 1-2. Slider away.
This is where we're going to start to see Ray Peng is the first of it, where we're going to start to see a few more of those bench reserves, those guys who aren't quite up there in the starting lineup, but that the coaches still want to see. And Jeremy, I think it might be Travius Ford time soon.
It could be. And 19 is kind of the get-to number this year for roster size, which means either you're carrying 8 pitchers and 2 bench players, or 3 bench players and 7 pitchers. 2-2, bust him inside with the fastball at 87. And speaking of 1-2-3 innings, Fiorito works one here in the 6th. Pop out, and a strikeout. 5.5 in the books. Still a 1-run lead.
Want to hit your home cleanup project out of the park? Well, making sure that your driveway is safe from damage? Rent a rubber-wheeled trailer from GFL and keep all of your bases covered. Our trailers come in 20 and 30-yard sizes for all your cleanup needs. Call GFL today to order your driveway-safe rubber-wheeled trailer. Team GFL, helping you win your cleanup project.
Slide into a new home. Work with a local mortgage pro who works for you. Get a cheaper, faster, easier home loan. Find a mortgage broker near you today at findamortgagebroker.com.
Jeremy Addo and Brendan Shabath back with you here at the ballpark. So glad you could tune in to the USPBL network. It is a 3-2 lead for the Unicorns.
We will be playing 7 innings for today's game, and then afterwards we'll have the
Blankenship
launch of balls and then the fantastic fireworks spectacular. 7 innings.
pitches again here in the 6th, and John Grab, our public address announcer, announces that we will play 7 innings here today with a rain delay. So Blankenship will face 8-9-1 here. Got some help from Fraley in center field, catching a big strike by Castro. Otherwise, things could have looked a lot more different in that first.
Certainly helpful for Fraley, too, when you can catch a ball that many of us didn't think was going to be catchable.
Now the 1-0. Slicing, breaking ball down low, and he swung through it.
I got to tell you, Jeremy, selfishly, I'm going to be upset if we had this whole delay and then we get gypped of a few innings and still don't see any power tonight. I think it might have to do a little bit with the cold weather.
Could be.
Ball's just a little bit deadened.
And we've seen both extremes really so far this season, and the young season it's been. Certainly spring training was very hot at times, and it cooled off towards opening day. And then by Saturday it was very warm. And now we're back to the dipping temperatures, but we'll go back right up again by the time the week of games is over. Parkinson with a single back in the third and a fielder's choice in the second. 2-1, another slider buried in the dirt, 2-2. Love how Blankenship is just able to fill the zone with strikes. I think he does a good job of mixing his pitches as well. Just going to be a reliable lefty out of the pen for Von Joshua's team.
Yeah, I think you said it best. Filling the strike zone, has not thrown a lot of balls, gotten behind in a lot of counts. Whoa.
Hard hit right back off him, I believe. Stevenson feeds the tag by Peng, and he was driven off the bag.
Yeah, it's a tough play there off Blankenship. A tough play for Blankenship to make. And then I believe that's Page at second. Made a great effort and really a pretty good throw. Just a little bit to the left of first base over there.
I don't know if it hit him or not. It's tough to tell. It could have hit the rubber as well. No, I guess it was too high. Maybe off the cleats. He kind of kicked it, I believe, to second.
Caught that calf, maybe.
John Hodo looks at a strike. So Page and, Page has moved to second, as you said. He was originally at first to begin this game. So with,
I think that's Peng over at first now. Yep.
So Stevenson is out in that regard as Hodo takes a cut at that one and hits it off his leg. That makes sense because Peng hit for the spot of Stevenson. Now the 0-2. Fastball runs in on the hands there. Drew Galassi on deck, the top of the order. Don't want to see him in a slim lead right now. Or a slim deficit, I should say, in the Beavers' hands. They'll have what will be their last ups in the top of the seventh. Try to come back in this game. Another 1-2. Line drive to center. That's going to get down. Parkinson to second base, and the first two base runners have reached here in the sixth.
Really good piece of hitting there by John Hodo. Got behind 0-2, didn't chase that running fastball inside on the hands that we've seen get so many hitters today. Was able to get a ball and make it 1-2, and then found his pitch, was patient, waited for it, able to just drive it back up to center field for a single.
We talked about some other guys moving on here from the USPBL earlier. Logan Gillespie, obviously with the Orioles, the second USPBL pitcher to make the big leagues. Dugan Darnell maybe making a case to be the third. He's in Double-A currently. Pitched for the Hoppers a couple years ago. He was their closer, has a pretty good ERA of 2.76 this year through 13 appearances. Struck out 20. Playing for the Hartford Yard Goats. One of the better names.
I was going to say, gotta love minor league baseball names.
First pitch to Drew Galassi is downstairs.
I got to guess Unicorns is a pretty unique one, too.
You'd think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Woolly Mammoth is a cool one.
Yep.
Cool logo.
Yeah.
Now the 1-0. In there for strike one. Parkinson on second, Hodo on first. Back-to-back singles to begin the sixth against Blankenship after a quick fifth. Even pitch, high and away. The fastball at 89.
Tough spot for Blankenship here. You want to finish this inning and get out without giving up any runs, but 2 on, nobody out. Couple hit balls This is a righty-filled lineup going against the lefty Blankenship, too, despite Galassi right now being the lefty in the box. And now with the newfound news that we have heard with only 7 innings going to be played today, this is a very big inning for Blankenship.
Now the 3-1. Low. And the bases are loaded with no outs here in the 6th.
See if we'll get a mound visit here for Blankenship. Not sure if... It looks like nobody's going to go out there. Surprised we don't see Von Joshua at least talk to Blankenship. Looks like there might be some movement in that Beavers bullpen, but usually we would see James Crick in this situation. Not a save situation, but end of the game closer, trying to prevent runs.
Eric Ramirez, who had a single back in the 2nd, his first professional hit, comes back to the plate here. Corner infielders are in once again. 0-2, fly ball to the gap in left center field. Fraley cruising over, makes the catch, tagging up his Parkinson, and he will score to give the Unicorns a 4-2 advantage now. Everybody else stays put. Another RBI there for Ramirez. Another guy to watch as well, which was the interesting part of 2020 here in the USPBL. Probably the only other time that you'll be able to see a, quote, under contract MILB player be able to play for an independent. We had a few of them here in the USPBL. First pitch to Bolin is low and in. Joey Weimer, who was in the Brewers organization when obviously all of minor league baseball was shut down in 2020. Local product out of the Downriver area. The exact location slips in my mind right now. I think here's the 1-0. On the line, into center field, a base hit. Rounding third once again, and coming home is Hodo. He will score as the throw is off the line. Another RBI single here for Bolin. He has a pair. He also plated the first run for the Unicorns back in the first inning.
Well, it's kind of what we talked about before those bases got loaded with 2 on and nobody out for Zach Blankenship. Surprised we still haven't seen a mound visit, but now giving 2 more insurance runs to the Unicorns, and now he's got to face the heart of this order with Bolin, Sikopoulos, Castro. Just 1 out, still 2 runners on.
It's De La Cruz running at first base now. First pitch to Sikopoulos, and comfortable looking swing there. Temperance Bedford was the school I was looking for Joey Weimer. Anyway, he's kind of shot up the ranks for the Brewers and is starting to become on their map as well in terms of top prospects. He was selected in the 4th round of 2020. He has 12 home runs this year, has driven in 33, 10 stolen bases, an OPS of 985. Sikopoulos swings and misses. Oh, and 2 on Ari here. Oh, 2 on the ground up the middle. Collette got the out at second, feeds to first, and that's a twin killing to end the 6th inning. The Unicorns do add a couple more runs. They lead at 5-2. Last up for the Beavers, and we get back in this shortened game because of the rain delay.
Every summer, my family loves to have a neighborhood movie night in our backyard. And with my Chevy Blazer, I can head out and get everything we need for a great night. It has plenty of room for picking up friends, and the available hands-free liftgate is perfect for loading unhandy supplies. You know, it may be movie night, but my Blazer is the main attraction wherever I go.
Lease a 2022 Blazer 2LT for just $239 a month for 24 months. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
We build roads, bridges, wind farms, and pipelines, schools to skyscrapers. Our members create monuments. We operate. We're the operators and mechanics behind the advanced heavy machines that move Michigan forward. We maintain boilers and HVAC. Our members run the complex heating and cooling systems that we all depend on. Our training is second to none, and safety is our priority. We are Operating Engineers 324, and we keep Michigan running.
There's nothing better than a ball game at Jimmy John's Field and a cold beer from Midland Brewing Company. Hi, I'm Kyle, the head brewer at Midland Brewing Company, here to wish you a stellar time making memories at Jimmy John's Field. And we hope that you're living it up with a Copper Harbor Ale in your cup. You can find more of our selections here at the ballpark and around town at your favorite bottle shops too. We hope you have a ball at the game, and remember, enjoy responsibly. Let's play ball.
Slide into a new home. Work with a local mortgage pro who works for you. Get a cheaper, faster, easier home loan. Find a mortgage broker near you today at findamortgagebroker.com.
Unicorns up 5-2 as the Beavers bat for the final time here in the top of the 7th inning. Marcus Page, Ryan Sullivan, Eric Whitfield, the scheduled 3. They will face Jake Fiorito here today. First pitch fastball in for a strike at 85. Ben's in strike 2. So the second inning of work for Fiorito. He worked a 1-2-3 bit in the 6th. Now the 0-2. Slider low.
We didn't know it at the time, but that 1-2-3 in the 6th was crucial. Starting, going 9-1-2, getting those top 2 hitters out for the Beavers, and they don't get to bat here in the 7th, which is the last inning.
Ooh, tough sledding there for Ramirez. Sticks with it, throws to first, still gets some. Kind of tripped, I believe, on the track, but able to get up and still gun him down over at first.
Well, we have seen some fielding magic from Eric Ramirez in his pro debut today. He was the one earlier. Was that the Beavers that had the double play with the tag on the bag throw to first?
Yeah, it was Mercedes, yep. Yeah. Bender inside for ball 1. Yeah, that jersey is going to need a major overhaul.
He's been hustling out there. He's earned it.
86 and tipped into the glove. 7th inning today brought to you by Jimmy John's. We thank Jimmy John's for their support of the USPBL this year. Outfielders fairly deep in the corners. Here's the 1-1. A little extra at 88 up high.
Well, they're deep because this is a guy who can go deep, and in a 5-2 ball game, that's okay for the Unicorns, but trying to get out of here and go home as soon as possible. Ooh.
Ouch. Hit him on the elbow, or near there.
I tell you what, Ryan Sullivan is an absolute trooper. This is a guy who's been hit by the pitch the second time today, thrown out 2 feet before home plate, got all dirty. Back in spring training, Jeremy, I don't know if you remember, you and I were both there at Henry Ford High School, and in spring training, these are not real games. These are scrimmages. Pitchers are trying to get innings. Hitters are trying to get at-bats. Fielders are trying to get,
Gloved by the shortstop Lambert for the second out.
Fielders are trying to get similar to real-life experience out in the field in real-life situations. But so a lot of times what happens is when a batter gets hit by a pitch in spring training, they just stay in for the rest of the at-bat because they don't want to just waltz down to first. That's the whole point. They're trying to get an at-bat. And Sullivan, I remember, got hit 4 times in one at-bat in spring training. 4 times there, twice today in this game. It's gotten all dirty.
The day at the ballpark.
Yeah.
So you want to be a professional baseball player, huh? Collette looks at this one inside, 1-0. Nephew Mercedes on deck if they can extend this inning with 2 outs. Now the 1-0. Fastball outside. 2-0 now. In on the hands and grounded foul. Jeremy Otto and Brendan Shabat to bring you the call here today. We'll be on the call for the next 3 games here on the USPBL network. Then it'll be Brendan on the play-by-play for the whole contest on Monday. Two-1. Shot to Lambert, feeds across his body, not in time. Did all he could, throwing across his body.
It was a nice effort there by Lambert, but Cameron Collette, game on the line, trying to stay alive. Excuse me, that was Page with that play. Collette did a nice job getting down there to first, though, to hustle and beat that one out.
I think that's Attilis at short, one of the newcomers. Again, wearing a different number than we anticipated, so we apologize. But Attilis, a guy that we're interested in seeing, kind of a shortstop all his life. So some competition for Lambert. Maybe we see one or the other shift to second base at some point, possibly.
Yeah.
1-0, big swing on the fastball and missed.
Well, as we mentioned, too, these are 2 guys that come from Lenoir-Rhyne, and I have a friend at Lenoir-Rhyne, an announcer friend, formerly Michigan State, Eric Bach, a fantastic broadcaster there, and he told me that those 2, Attilis and Ramirez.
Fly ball to right, Kieran Galassi back to the gap as he makes that catch for the 3rd out. And that will end the contest here today. A shortened game because of the rain delay. Got started a bit late at 7:50 here today. But the Unicorns able to squeeze out this one 5-2, your final score. Post game when we get back on the USPBL network.
If I hit a home run, then you know what's going out of the park. Yeah. Bases loaded, we ain't letting up. Scoring back to back, you can count it up. United we stand together. Divided we fall. Ain't no turning back, we done came too far to turn around and have a seat now. We don't compare, cause we unicorns. Illuminate the dark with my uniform. Every time you see me stand up and salute me. It ain't no competition, not even from you. If I hit a home run, then you know what's going out of the park. Yeah. Bases loaded, we ain't letting up. Scoring back to back, you can count it up. United we stand together. Divided we fall. Ain't no turning back, we done came too far to turn around and have a seat now. We don't compare, cause we unicorns. Illuminate the dark with my uniform. Every time you see me stand up and salute me. It ain't no competition, not even from you.
Slide into a new home. Work with a local mortgage pro who works for you. Get a cheaper, faster, easier home loan. Find a mortgage broker near you today at findamortgagebroker.com.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
We're the financial champion of Michiganders. Whether you're a goal getter or dream chaser, an empty nester, or up-and-comer, anyone in Michigan can bank with us. Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union.
Times are tough right now. It feels like the bottom of the ninth and we're down by 2. But we've seen tough times before. And just like baseball has always been more than just a game, Chief Financial Credit Union is more than money. So it might be the bottom of the ninth, but we're the home team, and we've got runners on base. Batter up, America. It's time to play ball.
While credit cards help pay for everyday expenses, carrying a balance each month can be tough on your budget. Since interest rates compound daily, the amount you owe gets bigger and bigger each day the balance goes unpaid. A Green Path debt management program helps you regain control of your finances by lowering credit card interest rates, reducing your monthly payments, stopping late fees, improving overall financial health, paying off credit card debt in 5 years or less. Our caring certified counselors work with you to understand your financial picture and support you on the steps to get control of high-interest debt and achieve financial health. Call 844-572-5921 and get control of high-interest credit card debt today.
Every summer, my family loves to have a neighborhood movie night in our backyard. And with my Chevy Blazer, I can head out and get everything we need for a great night. It has plenty of room for picking up friends, and the available hands-free liftgate is perfect for loading unhandy supplies. You know, it may be movie night, but my Blazer is the main attraction wherever I go.
Lease a 2022 Blazer 2LT for just $239 a month for 24 months. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
We're for people, the pioneers, the underdogs, the players, and the slow and steadies. We're for people, for who they are and who they could become. Yes, we're a bank, and some say our business is all about money, but that's an old idea. Because look past the money, and you'll see real human lives. We see it, because we're for people. Huntington, welcome.
The Unicorns finish off a victory here today at Jimmy John's Field as we welcome you back to the post-game show with our player of the game, Malik Bolin, here today. He had a couple RBIs and a run scored early on in this game. Kind of one of those grind-em-out games where, you know, not a lot of runs were scored, a lot of base runners, but you guys prevailed here today.
Yeah, I mean, we just tried to stay through it there late. It was closer than I thought. I looked up at the scoreboard late there, and it was 3-2, and I was like, all right, we got to get some here. And then they told us into the game in the 7th, so just had to get a few there late, and it proved to be what we needed.
You have, you know, kind of one of the unique situations of jumping right out of the college season and right into pro ball. You know, maybe for some better because you don't have time to think about it, maybe, right?
Yeah, so we finished college ball on a Sunday. I was here Wednesday in a preseason game, so, I mean, there was no thinking about it and just had to get right back into it.
Brought a lot of power, obviously, to your team in Division III and trying to bring that over to the USPBL here in the middle. I guess what's been your approach in the first couple games?
Just staying through it, really. Back home, it was put the ball in the air and to go. So up here, I'm just trying to stay through it. Velo's a little bit different, a little harder, so that's been a little bit of adjustment. But as long as I'm staying through it right now, which I clearly am, we'll be all right.
Got a taste of a rain delay here in Michigan as well.
Yeah, that was interesting. I've never done that, so typically back home, once you get that, you're done. So. Yeah, waiting in the locker room a little bit, trying to get re-warmed a couple times there. That was a little tough, but we'll be all right.
Obviously, you know, it's been a couple weeks for you in terms of game action in pro ball and a week of spring training. Just your overall thoughts on what it's been and, you know, what do you look for towards the future?
Yeah, I mean, I'm having a blast. I mean, I wish we'd get a few more in the middle of the week, but as we're getting in, most of these guys haven't played in a while, so once we get into it, I'm sure we'll start getting a few. We got a few midweeks coming up, so I mean, we'll be all right once we get into it.
Warm up tonight. It'll be much warmer, I think, by the next time you guys play.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it should be.
It's Malik Bolin, your player of the game here today. His Unicorns pick up another victory here today. We're back at it tomorrow. The Diamond Hoppers and the Mammoths for you on the USPBL Network at 7:05. The pregame at 6:45. See you then.